Namaste. Very good morning to one and all. I think there will be people who will be still joining, and our guests are also in the process of joining. Arunji, are you there? Hello, Arun.
Namaskar. Can you hear me?
Namaskar. Yeah,
I'm here, sir. Thank you. And yeah, I'm just joining. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Please turn on your video if you can.
Sure.
Yeah. And Jitendra ji also will be dialing in now. So we'll wait for that. And I think a few more are already dialing in. So we are just giving it another
Namaskaram.
2, 3.
Namaskaram. Very happy to meet you.
Namaskar. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm traveling now. That's why I'm at a different place.
Okay. Fine. Jitendra ji, have you joined? I'm able to see your name. Am I audible? Jitendra ji? Hello. Good morning. Namaste.
नमस्ते सुप्रभातम हरे कृष्ण
Yeah. Okay, great. So, wonderful. I think we can get started with both our guests having dialed in. Hopefully, the others also will join in another 2, 3 minutes. So, as a part of the NEP National Education Policy from Policy to Practice series, we have had 2 sessions so far. The first session involved outbound training in terms of how it can build life skills and holistic learning with Colonel Jayakumar. And last month we hosted Ram Prakash, who actually works in a lot of areas, life skills, sports, plus also he demonstrated how low tech can be used for government schools and using his Q cards technology. So this month the theme is IKS, Indian Knowledge Systems, and we have with us Dr. Arun and Dr. Jitendra Tiwari ji. Arun is from Chennai and Jitendra ji is from Uttarakhand. So I think you would
I'm from
all
प्रयागराज
Prayagraj. So and we will have, what we'll do is we'll just have a brief introduction of them. I mean, rather than me reading out their profile, I thought we'll ask them to describe their journey in terms of their roles and how they got into it, etc. And then we will have a conversation going forward. So over to you, Arun. Please,
Sure.
brief
Namaskaram,
introduction about
everyone.
yourself.
Yeah, big thank you all. Wonderful Saturday morning to meet everybody. Deeply grateful to be a part of this discussion. My name is Dr. Arun Janardhanan. I hope my audio is coming clearly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a silicon architect by profession. I enjoy device physics to software. Hardware, software is my forte. After engineering in India, I did my master's and PhD from the US and lived there for about 12 years in America with in Intel and then Qualcomm. And now at HCL, I lead technology practice for VLSI, embedded IoT, talent transformation. So enjoy teaching semiconductor. That's my strength from device physics to software, and also a storyteller in mathematics. Along my profession, I enjoyed teaching math from counting to calculus as a story in Tamil and English. It depends on the language. Now in Sanskrit, we are enjoying creating modules. So this inspiration came from my teacher, Professor K.S. Ramachandran, back in 1999, when he used to teach mathematics with just no boards at all and send IIT #1 rank kids from the class. And that is my academic side. On the personal note, we as a family raised 465 cows and bulls in Kanchipuram. That is our native. In Kanchipuram, we raised Boss Indicus, one of the local breeds, Pranta Pashu Kale, bulls and cows. In the local areas, about 7 varieties are there in that location only. All of Tamil Nadu, we counted 45 varieties. Today, we are in Madurai, counting the local breeds here, and then going to Tenkasi after that. So Tamil Nadu has 45 varieties of cows and bulls, and India has 175. That is my strength. And in that, using that farming practices, try to develop farming practices, indigenous practices which were originally there before. We have good success in 30 acres of land. with indigenous rice and vegetables. So farming, technology, math, and drift towards Gurukulam is what the last dimension is. In our family, we live in an apartment community with 300 children. All of them added to our WhatsApp groups, eight clustered as eight together, learning math, Carnatic music, Bharatanatyam, yoga, various aspects within the apartment, and now drifting towards an NIOS open school based community for the last 3-4 years. We have 104 children who graduated from that spaces. So that is where holistic Gurukulam, and we are trying to move to the villages now, all the setups. So that is where our research and development is. So happy to introduce myself. Thank you, Dr. Arun Janardhanan.
That's wonderful. That's a very multi-dimensional person, a technologist, trying to work in different aspects of holistic living, teaching maths the traditional way, into music, into yoga, into raising cows, native cows, and so I mean we'll explore in detail as we go ahead in this conversation. But that's Arun for you. Over to you, Jitendra ji. Please introduce yourself and tell about your background. Sir, you are muted. Jitendra ji, you are muted. Please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is Hindi okay?
Mix it with English, whatever you can. We'll
ओके
translate.
ओके ओके
Okay.
ठीक ठीक है ठीक है। मेरा जो पढ़ाई हुआ है वो मुंबई में हुआ है। वहां पर से मैंने फिजिक्स में ग्रेजुएशन किया हुआ है। और ग्रेजुएशन करते करते ही मैं भक्ति मूवमेंट के उसमें जुड़ गया था। इस्कॉन वहाँ पे एक संस्था है, वहाँ पे मैं उनके साथ भक्ति मूवमेंट में जुड़ा था। और वहाँ पे लगभग 10 साल मैंने उनके साथ जुड़ा रहा। और उनका गुरुकुल है मुंबई के पास में ही, वाड़ा नाम की जगह में, गोवर्धन इको विलेज में। तो वहां के गुरुकुल में मुझे लगभग 5 वर्ष गुरुकुल के बच्चों को पढ़ाने का अवसर मिला। और वहां पे मुझे प्रधानाचार्य की पदवी दी गई थी। और वहां पे हमारा जो गुरुकुल था वो थोड़ा सा जो ट्रेडिशनल गुरुकुल है उससे थोड़ा सा हमने अलग उसमें एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था। हमारे गुरुकुल गुरुकुल में हम जो आधुनिक विषय हैं वो आधुनिक विषय भी पढ़ाते थे उतने ही परसेंटेज में जितना कि भगवत गीता, रामायण और अन्य धर्मशास्त्र वहां पे हम पढ़ाते थे। और जैसा कि अरुण जी ने कहा, हमारे गुरुकुल में भी हम बच्चों को सर्वांगीण विकास पे, हमारा लक्ष्य था कि बच्चों का सर्वांगीण विकास हो। उसके लिए हमने बच्चों के लिए एक खेती के लिए पूरा एक सिस्टम बनाया था। वहां पे बच्चे स्वतः से खेती करते थे। गुरुकुल के लिए जो भी आवश्यक सब्जी है या चावल है, वहां पे चावल और चावल ही मुख्यतः होता है। तो चावल और सब्जी ये गुरुकुल के बच्चे स्वयं अपनी मेहनत से ही वहां पे उगाते थे, और बाकी शिक्षक भी उनके साथ लगकर काम करते थे। और इसके साथ ही बच्चों के लिए वहां पर हमने जैसे संगीत के लिए काफी गुरु हमने नियुक्त किए थे, जो बच्चों को संगीत, विशेष करके हमारा लक्ष्य हमने थोड़ा स्कोप लिमिटेड ही रखा था वहां पर। हमारा लक्ष्य ये था कि बच्चे कीर्तन करने में सक्षम हो, और कीर्तन के माध्यम से लोगों में जागरूकता पैदा करें, लोगों में भारतीय संस्कृति और भारत अपने सनातन धर्म के प्रति आस्थान्वित करने के लिए। हमारा यहाँ तक ही एक्चुअली हमने वो किया था। एक वहां पर हम ये करते थे, और साथ में ही बच्चों को हम खेल कूद के साथ ही गौ सेवा में भी हमारा ये था कि गौ सेवा समाज का एक महत्वपूर्ण भाग है। अगर गौ सेवा से अगर लोग जुड़ेंगे तो ही आगे जो नेचुरल फार्मिंग है या देश का विकास है वो सर्वांगीण उचित ढंग से हो पाएगा। तो वहां पे गुरुकुल के लिए हमने एक गौशाला भी स्थापित की थी। उसकी सेवा और उसका सारा रख रखाव गुरुकुल के विद्यार्थी ही करते थे। और इसके साथ साथ ही वहां पे बच्चों को मलखंभ और जो भारतीय खेल होते हैं, खो खो इत्यादि का प्रशिक्षण वहां पर दिया जाता था। और यहाँ पर मैंने 2021 तक सेवा की। 2021 के बाद आई रिटर्न टू प्रयागराज, एंड इन प्रयागराज आई आई एम कनेक्टेड विथ नाउ परमानंद गुरुकुल। हमारा एक परमानंद यहाँ पे गुरुकुल चलता है। हमारे गुरुकुल में अभी विशेषतः बच्चों को वेदों की शिक्षा दी जाती है। वेदों के साथ साथ अब यहाँ पे मेरा एक जो लक्ष्य है कि वेदों के साथ साथ बच्चों को आधुनिक शिक्षा भी दी जाए, ताकि वो समाज में एक लीडरशिप का रोल निभा सके। अभी चूंकि गुरुकुल में क्या हो रहा है कि बच्चे वेद पढ़ रहे हैं, धर्मशास्त्र पढ़ उसमें निपुण हो रहे हैं, लेकिन उनका जो आधुनिक समाज में जो जरूरत है, जैसे इंग्लिश की जरूरत है, गणित की जरूरत है, कंप्यूटर की, इसमें वो पिछड़े हुए हैं। तो एक मैं वहाँ जो संस्था है तो उनके साथ मिलकर हम ये प्रयोग कर रहे हैं कि आप आधुनिक विषय को भी उसमें जोड़ें, ताकि यही बच्चे समाज के लिए आगे चलकर एक लीडरशिप का रोल निभा सकें। ये हमारी एक संस्था भी हमने इस काम के लिए बनाई हुई है, श्री आदि शंकराचार्य फाउंडेशन। तो इस फाउंडेशन के माध्यम से हम चाहते हैं कि बच्चे, ये जो गुरुकुल के बच्चे हैं, ये गुरुकुल के बच्चे आगे चलकर देश में एक लीडरशिप का रोल निभाएं। अ, और साथ में ही जैसे हमने कहा था कि अगर बच्चों का विकास करना है तो अपना जो भारतीय शिक्षा पद्धति है, भारतीय शिक्षा पद्धति में क्या होता है कि खाली वो बुकिश नॉलेज नहीं दिया जाता, उनको ग्राउंड में प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज दिया जाता है। और साथ में ही धर्म, अर्थ, काम, मोक्ष, ये चारों को मिलाकर एक समन्वित शिक्षा प्रणाली का निर्माण किया जाता है। तो हम लोगों का प्रयास अभी यहाँ पर प्रयागराज में यही चल रहा है कि किस तरह से धर्म, अर्थ, काम, मोक्ष, इन सबको मिलाकर बच्चों को एक प्रशिक्षण दिया जाए, ताकि ये बच्चे आगे चलकर किसी के ऊपर आश्रित न रहें। ये नौकरी ढूंढने के बजाय ये खुद लोगों को एक रोजगार का एक अवसर दें। तो ये हमारा एक प्रयास चल रहा है जी।
ओके, बहुत धन्यवाद। आई मीन बहुत अच्छा डिस्क्राइब किया आपने। फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ व्यूअर्स, आई मीन आई एम अज्यूमिंग मोस्ट ऑफ यू फॉलो हिंदी, सो बट if in case you have difficulties, we will try to summarize it. So there, I mean, just in a short summary, he has been, I mean, this Pathshala has been teaching a lot of Indian scriptures, but at the same time, they also teach modern education. They also expose them to kheti, that is farming. They also want to expose them to modern education so that they build leaders for the country. So
Yeah.
that's the essence of what Jitendra ji said. So I will try
Yeah.
to summarize for the benefit of those people who cannot
Our aim is
understand Hindi.
our aim is to produce good leaders who can lead Bharat in future, because politics is not only reserved for say bad people. Good people should also come and lead the nation.
Okay, thank you very much. So both Arun ji and Jitendra ji have given a summary of what they do, and that's quite a lot. Now it's time to go deeper into what they do, because they have given some 4 5 things, and there is a lot to explore here. So let me again go back to Arun ji. Let's take one at a time, whichever is your choice, Arunji. Maybe the one that you're doing in your apartment, that is out of curiosity, because most of the people here, see, one of the things that bothers us is we keep saying IKS. There is so much of noise in the media and all that, this board, that board, jobs, employment, and all that. Um, how can we practice IKS in our own small ways? And that is one very inspiring thing that you are doing by what do you say, creating a community within your apartment, and trying to create a structure where the children can learn and practice things. So probably elaborate that part.
Sure. So I'm very happy to elaborate this. So in our apartment, we were very fortunate to have 300 children. Every gated community in Chennai has about 1,500 flats. Recently in OMR, we were surprised to get so much numbers. And near that, there are slums where relocated community, about 50,000 children are all present in that area, Kannagi Nagar and Tsunami Colony. So within a small area, when we found so much people, I really enjoyed moving into this apartment from America when we moved back. And we wanted to settle down in Chennai. We thought there'd be a lot of learning. So inside the apartment also, there are people from all over from India. Every part of India, people were there inside the apartment, because it is a very cosmopolitan, whatever we call it, in this current Nagaram. Now, the amount of knowledge that they were giving us, each of them based on their own practices, how they think, how conservative they are all, how anxious, how outgoing, and who they blend with, what will they do in which functions. We studied this for about 5 6 months. We understood each of their practices. Now we all have to unite on a certain front. What is the front we can all unite? We were all thinking. One was we were conducting a lot of tuition centers with Sangh, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, and other things. We were all creating all this. But eventually, we wanted to see what can unify all these people intellectually, and what are everybody's mind as children, kids. children's their education only was in everybody's mind, and they wanted to give them a very nice place, blossoming them, see their changes that were happening. So we realized that the best education for a child can come from only amma appa, mother and father. And when we opened up the community during corona, when it is all like nobody goes out and still only be present here, naturally we saw a phenomenon where eight children in the same group, same capabilities, were grouping together and going to specific amma appa houses. So we rented like 7 apartment communities inside the apartment, where day care center will be there and small activities will be here, one library center, kids will come so happy to. So that we were able to, within a short period of time, test that the energy of children, the positive energy of amma appa providing them, overtook all the differences, diversity we had in the community. Once it overtook it, the observation after that was how fast children were learning. That is now personal choice. Every child has their own ability to learn whatever they want to in whatever speed they want to. That is their own right. So I as a person was conducting this and observing, I saw that children had to be in separate groups. So that clay modeling had to happen, dance had to happen, and then during functions they got together. So there was somebody necessary in the community who had this understanding of how diverse their capabilities are, and how much their children are all different, and then still unify them. This was the key learning. Storytelling was the base that was used. So Khan Academy was popular then, and then 3 blue, 1 brown for mathematics. And then slowly students were even getting into IIT Madras without any school at all. NIOS board, just homeschool, just a few videos and watch it. 6 months of preparation, they were able to get into IIT. So then that triggered our instinct, and we went to IIT Madras, and we found out a lot of children who were studying in NIOS boards. And then we knew that Gurukulam is the future. This is called Gurukulam. A special Rigveda Ganapati came home. His name is Sri Dattaras Deshpande. He came home and he told Arunji, you're trying to build a Gurukulam here. That is what India's treasures are. And he defined what a Gurukulam is. His name is Abhinava Swamigal now. He is the Matadipati of Kudali Shringeri, but he was traveled with us for almost 2 years and closely educated us about these initiatives, what we are trying to do. So he said, you're trying to build a Gurukulam. Gurukulam, Guru means Appa. When Appa, Amma, when the child crosses 8 years of age, along with the child, 8 other children will live in a place where they are learning. Appa, Amma's life becomes their learning. The life of the father and mother becomes the learning for the children. So that was the objective. So how do you convert your life into learning? Can I spend 2 more minutes on this question, Ji?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So now, how do you convert life into learning? I'm just switching my chairs. How does a mother and father convert their life into learning? Is when Shiva Shakti Bandham, when Pati Patni Bandham is so is pursuing Artha Dharma Kama Moksha, like our Jitendra ji said, then their life becomes a learning. If there is imbalance in Artha Dharma Kama Moksha in their lifestyle, then you will not be able to convert your life as efficiently into a learning for children with you, 8 children with you, not 200, 300 children, but 8 children with you. So this 8 is a very special number. Then we understood that a nature-bound place is a must. A family that farms together stays together. Farming is a key component of everybody's life in India, Anadikala. In Abad Kala, Krishi is the Udyogam. Every scripture you take, farming is important. So when we touched farming, that is when our eyes opened up a lot. When we saw, oh, to farm, what do we need? People were bringing organic food. Organic food had full of poison. It had a special worm called Icena fetida, which is an African worm that wriggles in the top surface and converts the arsenic mercury poison into our food, making it more poisonous. They brought it as organic food. And now organic food has got so much chemicals. So now, then we understood that what is really going to enrich our soil of the food. And then we found Gomata, Pasumad, cow, bull, and calf. This was a turning point in our life. This is the same time when Sri Dattaraj Deshpande ji, he also told us that when you find a cow and a calf, do a namaskaram for it. You will get all your dreams manifested. It will become true. And then I went and we all went to the apartment community. In the gated community entrance, we took one cow, bull, cow, calf, and we gave food to it. It followed us. We took it to the villages. Behind those villages, we found 5,000 cows, hip height, only 90 centimeters in height, eyes looking side to side, a sensitive skin, and This is called Kanchi Kuttai. In Kanchipuram, it is Kanchi Kuttai, dwarf breed. There were 7 varieties like that. So whenever you say Indian cow, you can't bring every Indian cow bull to every other place. You have to only take care of that cow and bull there. Why? Because when a cow goes in the front, a bull of different variety comes from behind, the cow immediately sits down. Otherwise, if it gets impregnated, it can die during delivery. The head won't come out, the body won't come out. We started understanding the intricacies of Gomata. Really, if you see Gomata, and you do really puja with 7 different breeds inside a Goshala, and then you bring Gir ka guy, Parkar ka guy, because that is all desert breed in Rajasthan and Kutch, Gujarat. Those milk bags are not milk. God has given water in those bags to hydrate people when there is no water. From here, rich people who are all like Marwadis and Gujaratis and Jains who are all moved back to Tamil Nadu and other parts of India, they think Gir ka guy, Desh ka guy. No. And Rajasthan Tarparkar, no. They bring it here after 6 months, the bags reduce, shrink, and then they put on the road to slaughter. So now we said last 6 months, try not to bring these cows, don't transport them anywhere to anywhere. Now, take care of your local breeds. Where are your local breeds? How can you find them? You search them in the near your villages. You will find them large numbers. 500, 600 will be there, but only one bull will be there. That one bull is a Parashara, is a Rishi. 5 bulls only will be there. That is like the Gotram is beginning from there. That seriousness. We understood that this particular narrative is all over world. People are trying to bring Brazil ka bull here because they took it from here to there. And they're telling you are more worthy if you come from outside of India back into country. Like if I stayed in 12 years and come back to India, I'm not worthy now. More than anybody here. So they bring semen here. Semen is a 30,000 crore market around to inseminate every cow and bull to reduce its fertility from 16 calves. A cow lives for 20 years, 16 calves. But if you artificial inseminate, after 3 calves, it will become infertile. So now I started understanding. We all put our minds together and said, Goshala means freely grazing, local breed, indigenous, bull seminated, happy, finally, family. The last dimension I'm going to share is family care. The cow and bull is the only cow and bull. Why? Because the first time you touch the milk teat of a cow, it will give one kick straight in the face first day. After 1 week, it is giving a rub on the side. It is saying that the calf has had the milk. You have not had the milk. It is reminding us. So back in those days, we had so much love in the family, in the network, farming network, that it was possible to get milk out of cow. Now it is just machines, oxytocin injections pierced in the neck 7 times in 1 week, again and again and again, to increase so-called milk production, A1, A2, A3, A4. So we are getting to a very closing point of the story now. Now, what do we do? What is the solution? At IIT Madras also, we have an institution called I Will, and other institutes, all in VIT is called BIAL, and all the institutes have understood the importance of this, and now they are going to villages. India has 3 million square kilometers in area, land area, of which 92% is villages. 92% of it is villages. Only 8% is urban setup. But the population of India, which is almost 1.4 billion, 140 crores, 50% of it is living in only 8% of area, more than 50%. So almost 70 crores of people are just living in just 8% of area and trying to solve rest of the world's problems. But they cannot solve it. They have to go from there to solve the problems. And the vehicle to go, that is Gomata, cow, bull, and a calf. So we raise 465 cows and bulls now in different parts of villages, and 100 of them grouped together and studying their pattern. The calf will escape from the shed and come sleep with the father, the bull, at night. And 100 cows and bulls will be in one together setup. One cow and bull only will go night grazing in the moon at night. So Gomata real work is to let it be freely grazing and take care of it. So we understood that Gurukulam dimension, society, village, everything got connected into a small, long answer, Kartikji, but I hope I covered.
No, this is great. I mean, there's a lot to learn from you. I mean, you've done some fantastic work. So, a summary of your insights. I mean, I may not be covering every point, but the point is the essence of being connected with farming, with cows. That's the basic thing, that the turnaround that happened, and the importance of native rearing. Even within India, there are different parts. What is appropriate to northern India may not be appropriate to southern India. I mean, it probably has a dependency on weather, local conditions, soil, many factors matter. And there are, I'll just stop at that. I know you covered many more, but the essence of it is this. And this is phenomenal work that you have done. We'll go deeper into it. So let's just
Thank
pause
you.
here and switch over to Jitendra ji. Jitendra ji, on similar lines, I know you're doing a lot of Goshala work and farming.
Mhm.
So probably just to, for the continuity of the topic, would like to hear from you what you do at your Sanstha.
धन्यवाद. So here what we are doing, यहाँ पे जो यहाँ का जो ज्योग्राफी है, जैसे आपने कहा कि जो गौ माता का जो वंश है, जो गुजरात का जो ज्योग्राफी है, वहाँ का जो टेम्परेचर है या कंडीशन है, वो हर जगह अलग अलग होता है. तो हमारा जो चित्रकूट क्षेत्र है, यहाँ पे बुंदेलखंड क्षेत्र इसको कहते हैं. तो दिस रीजन इज blessed with a forest. Lot of forest area is here, and population density is very low compared to other parts of the our country. So इसके कारण यहाँ पे क्या है कि बहुत सारा गोचर भूमि है, जहाँ पे हम अभी तक क्या हो रहा था कि किसान गौ माता को मात्र एक गाय दूध देने के लिए ही उनको लगता था कि गाय माता का सिर्फ दूध देने के लिए ही एक प्रयोग होता है. और बैल जो हमारे यहाँ होते थे उनको कृषि के लिए प्रयोग करते थे. लेकिन जब से मुझे लग रहा है कि पिछले एक दशक से ट्रैक्टर का इतना उपयोग बढ़ गया है, मैकेनाइजेशन खेती में इतना बढ़ गया है कि जो बैल है वो मतलब एक तरह से किसानों के लिए एक बोझ हो गए हैं. और किसान और एक्चुअली उसका कारण भी है क्योंकि यहाँ पे जो खेत है, खेत में थोड़ा छोटे छोटे एरिया है खेत लोगों के पास. तो उसके कारण उसको घास का प्रबंध करना, और चूंकि यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा एक सूखा वाला रीजन है, पानी कम यहाँ पे बरसता है, तो लोगों को घास चारा और अन्य चीज का खरीदना ही पड़ता है बाहर से. तो इसके लिए लोग सोचते हैं कि यार इसको फिर छोड़ दो, जंगल में ये चरेगा. लेकिन जो बैल होते हैं या गाय जो होती हैं, अगर उनको आपने छोड़ दिया तो जरूरी नहीं कि वो जंगल में ही चरेंगी. आप जो खेत में गेहूं चावल या चना जो भी बोएंगे वो उसको भी चरेंगे. तो ये यहाँ पे एक बहुत बड़ा मतलब पिछले दशक में से एक बहुत बड़ा इश्यू है. ये एक्चुअली पॉलिटिकल भी इश्यू बना था कि योगी जी के आने के बाद उन्होंने मतलब एक्चुअली ये बड़ी शर्म की बात है कि कुछ पार्टियां ऐसे कर रही थी कि योगी जी के आने के बाद बैलों की संख्या बढ़ गई है क्योंकि वो यहाँ पे स्लॉटर हाउसेस के ऊपर बहुत बैन लगा रहे हैं. तो हमने सोचा कि क्यों ना इसके ऊपर काम किया जाए. तो हमारा जो बाकी जो यहाँ पर एक गो विज्ञान केंद्र है नागपुर में, वहाँ के जो विशेषज्ञ हैं उनके साथ मिलकर हमने चर्चा की, और अन्य जो ग्राउंड में काम कर रहे हैं. तो हमारा ये समझ में आया कि जो गोमूत्र होता है या गोबर होता है वो गौ माता या गोवंश का मुख्य प्रोडक्ट है. दूध तो एक बाई प्रोडक्ट है. अगर आप दूध लेके चलेंगे तो कभी भी जो गोपालक है वो फायदे में नहीं रहेगा, वो हमेशा प्रॉब्लम में ही रहेगा. तो हम अभी यहाँ पर क्या कर रहे हैं, गोमूत्र से कई तरह की दवाइयां बनती हैं, गो अर्क बनता है, और गोबर से भी कई तरह की कलाकृतियां भी बनती हैं. गोबर से आप जो वर्मी कंपोस्ट या अन्य तरह की खाद बना सकते हैं. तो हमारा जो लक्ष्य है कि गोबर और गोमूत्र से अलग अलग तरह के उत्पाद बनाए जाएं, जिससे लोगों का आय तो बढ़ेगा ही, साथ में गौ माता जो बेसहारा लोग छोड़ देते हैं वो बेसहारा नहीं छोड़ेंगे. क्योंकि अगर आप गोबर से जो बना रहे हैं, तो गोबर से जो कलाकृतियां हमने जो यहाँ पर चालू किया है प्रयोग, तो उससे काफी लोगों को फायदा हो रहा है. तो मेरा और हमारे जो मित्र हैं, हम लोग का प्रयास यही है कि हम सब मिलकर गौ माता को जैसे गोमूत्र का ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रयोग हो, गोबर का ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रयोग हो. तो इसके बारे में हम लोग प्रशिक्षण भी देते हैं, किसानों को प्रशिक्षण देते हैं, और साथ साथ में जो उत्पादन करते हैं तो हमारा प्रयास रहता है कि उसको अलग अलग देश के भागों में या यहाँ पे लोकल मार्केट में ही जितना हो सके तो उसको पहुंचाया जाए, कनेक्ट किया जाए, गोपालक को मार्केट से कनेक्ट किया जाए. ये एक हम लोग यहाँ पर छोटा सा प्रयास कर रहे हैं.
बहुत अच्छा. I mean, just for summarizing for the benefit of those who don't understand Hindi, just I'll keep it to very, very short. So a lot of us, I mean, we are not following the ancient India practices where the cows and bulls were revered and given the appropriate respect and treatment. because Indian society was a farming society, and bulls helped in grazing. And unfortunately, with the advent of the business mindset and increased productivity, we have brought in a lot of tractors. We are thinking cows are only there for giving us milk, but milk is not the main product. In fact, the gobar, the cow dung, and cow urine, they have a lot of medicinal value, and they also help in preparing fertilizers, which will keep the farms very fertile and healthy. So that is the discovery that Jitendra ji had after discussing with his friends in Nagpur when they did deeper research. So they need to find ways by which we need to preserve both the cows and bulls, so that hand in hand they go with the society. Not just, and it is also an opportunity, not just from a medicinal value, but it will also be an opportunity for the livelihood of the people around who actually take care of the cows and bulls, because some of these can be also sold for consumption purposes. So both for the society, as well as for the farm, as well as for the livelihood, in several aspects, it's important to preserve the cows and bulls.
Can I
That's
add one
the
small dimension,
essence.
Karthik to this point which is mentioned? Can I just add one dimension?
Yeah,
Which I
please.
forgot to mention. The key thing is the bulls. People think that we find 5,000 cows, only 10 bulls you find. People think that 10 bulls are the only there because they are all eaten and discarded and tractors not there and everything. No, God gives 50% cows, 50% babies as bulls and cows only. But why are we eliminating the bulls is because when they come to 2 years of age, when they do not have enough socialization skills with our families, when they do not experience the love of the families, when two bulls they might meet on the road, they think they're having a small disagreement, they destroy the entire street. I'll share the videos of this. They destroy the entire village, and then they pretend as if nothing happens because they are fighting together. It's a small disagreement according to them, but they have destroyed the entire village. So this is why bull and cow has to be raised from young age, and only that care will give us ability to sustain, to increase our progeny, our gotra, our kula, our whatever we are pursuing will get increased only if you raise a bull. Krishi Parashara, Vedavyasa's father, right? The Parasharas and Smriti around Dharmashastra talks about how bull must be taken by even a Brahmin in the morning to a field and then get it washed and slowly bring it to tie it properly. And there is rules and regulations on how to care for a bull, how to train the bull, how to talk to the bull, how to worship even the testicles of a bull, and lot of other things are there about the progeny, the welfare of that. So that I wanted to add.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Very helpful. From both the discussions, we are getting enlightened on the importance of bull. See, because unfortunately, we have a very narrow mindset today. Not, I mean, it is influenced heavily by the Western thought of productivity, what they see in the outer thing, right? I mean, okay, cow is there for milk. Once the milk is done, I will use it for its hide or whatever flesh. I mean, just using it as an object rather than treating it as a living being. Similarly, if somebody is useful to me, I will preserve, otherwise, I'll destroy. That is the attitude, unfortunately, that has happened. We should get over it. We should truly understand the importance of both these lives created by God, and see how to understand better and integrate it in our livelihood. So, thank
So
you
the
very much.
beautiful point of connection, Karthik, is just to add one small thing. The beautiful point where Gurukulam connects to Goshala. In Gurukulam, when the mother and father, along with 8 children, their life becomes the learning. There are 5 centers of excellence there, according to this research. The first is Goshala, second is Prayogashala, Patashala, Pakashala, Atitishala. These 5 centers of excellence are present in every Gurukulam. Now, with this connection in the brain, I saw that there are 8 bulls, boy bulls, with very baby ones, which are all very naughty and biting everything and eating the sand and everything. When they got together, I saw them following one Amapa, one mother together, and they're grazing together and learning in love. That is when it clicked to me: 8 boys, 8 bulls, and a Pati Patni in a Gurukulam, or 8 cows, 8 girls, Pati Patni in a Gurukulam. You're initiating this in any place where the other parents serve around the Gurukulam, because in just 2 months we have 8 tons of rice coming out of just 5 acres of land. So transaction, trade, protection, so much of things happen around the Gurukulam where children are learning. So every Gurukulam is a Maha Yagyam, is like a center of excellence where all the other parents have a role, integrated role to perform. So, and learn from the children every day. So this system is what we are trying to build all over India, and I'm very happy to be a part of this, doing this, Karthik, and very eager to join with you and everybody.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, there's so much to learn from both of you. So great. So this part you covered. Let's go a little deeper, Arunji, into the other aspects that you are bringing in the music part. Maybe you want to delve into that?
Sure,
Music and
sure.
other
Jitendra
aspects
ji
that you
also can
teach
cover.
in our in your
Yes,
in your colony. You
yes,
said
yes.
maths and
So
music.
maths and
Uh,
mathematics, and so mathematics, all of 12 years of schooling today and then college is just giving basic literacy to students. You can identify numbers 0 to 9, add, multiply, divide and subtract. That's it. And it is far from AI, far from ML, far from quantum, far from any pursuit of maths or science necessary for life. So do we want to give our children continuously just literacy and hope they will be slightly better than us, or do we want to restructure the system completely? In the year 1853, Sandalam Sundara Rao, an Acharya in Kumbakonam, he took one square piece of paper, he folded it and taught all of mathematics, counting to calculus, cardioids, infinite series, everything by just folding one square piece of paper. 1853. It became geometrical exercise paper folding. A book went all over the world, and it became the Bhagavad Gita of math education in 93. We are talking about post-British onslaught, post-Islamic onslaughts, post every difficult crisis possible. People were able to still get mathematics to that level. In that book, he writes that it is for kindergarten children. For kindergarten children. Today, I go to the best of IITs, best of students, best of minds here to read that book. I need to examine with extra pairs of lenses and connect. So mathematics is truth, is just like Brahman. Those who pursue the truth pursue mathematics also. Those who pursue the truth pursue music also. They will pursue yoga. They will pursue all these aspects will blend in their mind, and they will experience God in all of this. So that brings us to the deeper question: where is God present? We are absolutely not qualified enough to identify, isolate one place inside or outside. So this takes us to a deeper thought of whether what is really Advaita, what is even before Advaita, what is Dvaita, Vishishta Advaita. So these deeper questions come when you even pursue all this with humility, because what is known is just so tiny, 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 tiny is what is known. And what really gives you that humility is experiencing that and being a part of what you're experiencing. So just to touch that philosophical note, but to retract again, all of Vishwakarma's work, hardware, software, is just sixth stream of Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma did wood, he did sand, he taught about gold, iron, and in both equipments as well as in vessels and sculptures. Sixth stream is hardware, software. All of AI, ML is just rocket science, is just milk and turmeric. If you mix it, you'll get yellow milk. That's it. That is technology. You go down science, you go down to engineering, you go down to mathematics, engineering, science, and then mathematics. People can really experience the bliss of this very deeply in Gurukulams. So happy to just summarize this. So we had this insight 5 years ago itself that all of education was always capsuled in India. But again, we never force anybody who doesn't want to learn. We never force a clan of people who are saying, I'm happy doing this. We never go to them and say, come on, we have to understand calculus by 11th standard. We don't force everybody. Today we are teaching calculus to everybody in 11th standard. How many are really understanding it? And how many really want it? How do you make the choice? Gurukulams made the choice. The society made the choice. Appa Amma made the choice, not some other syllabus and boards, right? And Tulasidasar in his poetry, Mukul Kanatkarji often quotes it, says, why do I care who the king is? I am the Acharya of this Gurukulam. At mighty Akbar sits on the throne. So these aspects connected in our minds 5 years, 4, 5 years back, and that is what we have a driving mission, Ji.
Okay, great. I mean, in an essence, I can, nutshell, I can put it, Katrathu kai mannalavu, kalladadu ulagalavu. They say it in Tamil. What it means is, whatever we know is a handful of mud in the hand, and we don't know, what we don't know is the entire world. Even based on what you said, there is so much for us to learn, Arun. And I'm sure there is, and if you are saying that you don't know many things, then I can understand how much we all don't know. But yeah, I think we are slowly, the good news is that we are slowly starting to discover our ancient systems, thanks to people like you and Jitendra ji. Thanks for that elaboration. We'll move on to Jitendra ji. Sir, what do you do outside of the? We discussed about farming, we discussed about cows and bulls, etc. The other education that you teach, right, for your in the gurukula that you have, can you just elaborate on that?
Sorry about that. I missed the question. Last part of the question, I missed it, Karthik ji.
No, no. I was asking Jitendra ji to
Jitendra ji,
expand
please,
on
please.
what he does beyond in the education stream. Beyond the we discussed the cows and bulls and the farming part. Now on the main education, what do they teach? That's what I was asking him.
In our Gurukulam, there are many subjects which are taught. So mostly we are focusing on Dharma Shastra, Niti Shastra, and grammar. So these are the main subjects which are taught in our Gurukula. So apart from that, basic Sangeeta and some modern subjects like including Vedic Gadit, normal Gadit as well, and English. These are some subjects which are we are teaching in our Gurukula.
Okay. And
Mhm.
Arunji said that they are allied to the NIOS curriculum. And what board
Mhm.
is your Gurukulam students? What exams do they clear? Just so that they have a certification. Is it also NIOS?
No, we are affiliated to Maharshi Sandipani Ved Pratishthan.
Okay.
Actually, in our ashram there are two parts. So one part of Gurukul is associated with Maharshi Sandipani Ved Pratishthan, and second one is affiliated with Uttar Pradesh Sanskrit Madhyamik Board.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So one is allied to the State Board of Uttar Pradesh state. Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it.
Sanskrit Board. Hmm.
Yeah, Sanskrit board. Okay, great. Thank you. So that is helpful to know because see, finally, in the current education system, you have to ally to one of the boards, central
Mhm.
board, state board, or
Mhm.
things like that. So thank you. Thank you for elaborating that.
One thing I would like to share with all of the viewers, I have privilege to teach almost in all boards, ICSE board, CBSE board, Maharashtra SSC board, as well as Uttar Pradesh SSC board. So मैंने इतने सारे बोर्ड के बच्चों को पढ़ाया, मुंबई में पढ़ाया, मुंबई के बाद उत्तर प्रदेश में पढ़ाने का मौका मिला। और अभी उत्तर प्रदेश का जो संस्कृत बोर्ड है, मैंने पाया कि उत्तर प्रदेश संस्कृत बोर्ड का जो करिकुलम है वो मतलब आई फाउंड इट बेस्ट कि इट इज वेरी बैलेंस्ड। दो यहाँ पर उसके लिए टीचर्स नहीं है, उस कैलिबर के टीचर हमारे यहाँ बहुत रेयरली मिलते हैं, बट और एक दूसरा ये है कि पेरेंट्स का भी उसमें बहुत उदासीनता है। दे डू नॉट ट्रस्ट संस्कृत बोर्ड। उनको लगता है कि संस्कृत बोर्ड में जाएगा हमारा बच्चा तो भविष्य में आगे कुछ कर नहीं पाएगा, वो उसको विश्वास नहीं करते हैं। इसके कारण वहां पे जो चूंकि पेरेंट्स भी विश्वास नहीं करते हैं तो ऑब्वियसली उसका जो इम्पैक्ट है वो टीचर के मनोबल में भी पड़ता है, तो दिखता है। लेकिन वहां का जो करिकुलम है, मैंने जो देखा है संस्कृत बोर्ड का, वो बहुत ही बैलेंस्ड है। क्योंकि हमने जैसे कहा महर्षि सांदीपनि वेद प्रतिष्ठान है, तो वहां पे हमारे जो बच्चे वेद सीखते हैं तो उनका लगभग 7 से 8 साल उनका वेद सीखने में टाइम चला जाता है। मतलब जो लार्ज पार्ट ऑफ देयर टाइम इज डिवोटेड टू मेमोराइजिंग वेदा। तो उसमें फिर एक जो एक्सपेरिमेंट करने का जो टाइम रहता है वो बहुत उनके पास कम रहता है। लेकिन जो संस्कृत बोर्ड है, यहाँ पे चूंकि हम वेद तो इसमें नहीं सिखाते, लेकिन इसमें अन्य जो धर्म शास्त्र हैं, नीति शास्त्र हैं, व्याकरण है, इतिहास है और आधुनिक जो विषय हैं, ये सब इसमें पढ़ाने का एक अच्छा मौका मिलता है। तो मेरे हिसाब से अन्य जो राज्य हैं वहाँ के जो संस्कृत बोर्ड होते होंगे वहाँ पे भी समथिंग ऐसा ही कुछ होता होगा। सो ये एक ऐसा बोर्ड है जिसको मुझे लग रहा है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रमोट करना चाहिए।
Okay. Thank
हम्म।
you. Just for the benefit of others, I mean, he spoke in a combination of English and Hindi. So he feels that Uttar Pradesh Sanskrit Board is one of the best in terms of the curriculum. But unfortunately, there aren't sufficient expert teachers who can teach to that capability. And More importantly, the unfortunate fact is also that more parents are moving away from Sanskrit boards because they feel that the modern education will be better for their children. And therefore, it is also demotivating the teachers. But he has had the privilege of teaching at Maharashtra board, CBSE, ICSE board, and now Uttar Pradesh board. So it's a challenge. I mean, that is a challenge that today's generation has, right? We are more and more attracted towards the modern curriculums. Somehow there is a feeling of ancient Indian systems, whether they will help get the jobs, whether they will get the children settled in terms of jobs, international exposure, etc. That's a real challenge, but I'm hoping that there will also be a pathway ahead. Uh, but the good news is that there is a revival of that. And in fact, if you see in the comments that Suresh ji has mentioned that even Western math experts have praised Vedic maths. A lot of Western people also know the importance of Vedic maths, and there are enough people who praise Indian systems from outside India. But unfortunately, their voices are low, and at least as seen in the media, so their voices get dimmed, and we still glorify the British education that they left us with. But slowly but surely, things are changing. Yeah, go ahead, Ji. You had.
आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड वन मोर पॉइंट कि जैसे जब वैदिक जो हमारे जो गुरु हैं शंकराचार्य जी हैं, गोवर्धन मठपुरी के शंकराचार्य जी वो हमारे गुरु हैं। वहाँ का जो गोवर्धन मठ है, तो वहाँ के जो 143वें शंकराचार्य जी थे, अ, स्वामी भारती कृष्ण तीर्थ महाराज, तो उनके द्वारा वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स लिखा गया था। तो वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स के ऊपर उन्होंने 12 किताबें लिखी थी, और 12 किताबों को उनके अमेरिका के शिष्य थे, उन्होंने कहा कि हमें दे दीजिए, हम इसको यहाँ पर पब्लिश करवा देंगे। बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली या जो भी हुआ हो, वहां पे उनके द्वारा वो सब वो मतलब ऐसा हुआ कि वो खो गई हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि वो हमसे खो गई हैं। अब उसमें क्या हुआ वो थोड़ा सा एक रहस्य है। लेकिन बाद में जो शंकराचार्य जी महाराज थे, उन्होंने वापस वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स को फिर से लिखा। मतलब उनके पास हालांकि थोड़ा एज ज्यादा एडवांस हो गई थी, इसके बावजूद उन्होंने वापस एक एक ही लेकिन वो लिख पाए। इसके अलावा बाकी जो 11 वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स की बुक थी वो हमारे पास नहीं है। एक ये कहना था, और दूसरा कहना था कि जैसे वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स जब हम अपने बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं, तो वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स से उनका जो स्पीड होता है, कैलकुलेशन का जो स्पीड होता है, वो बहुत गुना बढ़ जाता है। वो एक तरह से कैलकुलेटर के स्पीड में आ जाते हैं गुणा भाग करने में, जो नॉर्मल गुणा भाग करना है। तो उसका अच्छा रिजल्ट है। और हालांकि बहुत सारी अभी जो कंपनियां है, टेक की कंपनियां हैं, उसको हालांकि वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स नाम नहीं देती हैं, लेकिन कुछ अलग नाम देकर वो उसको यूज कर रही हैं। एक तो लोग उसके लिए पैसा दे रहे हैं, लेकिन अगर आप वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स में वैदिक वर्ड जुड़ जाएगा तो थोड़े से लोगों को लगता है कि अरे ये तो कुछ ओल्ड फैशन है। एक एक मुझे प्रॉब्लम है ये अपने भारतवासियों से।
Okay, thank you. So what he said, his Shankaracharya, his teacher, had written 12 books on Vedic mathematics, and in the USA they were willing to publish it. But unfortunately, many of the books got lost, and somehow they couldn't get into publication. Luckily, one book got published, and as we discussed earlier, right? I mean, we are not giving importance to this. The speed of the calculation, thinking, etc., improves when we follow Vedic maths, but we are still tied to the British system that of conventional maths. Thank you for elaborating that. Okay, so Ramaswamy has a comment. Vedic maths is good, but but Bharatiya Ganitam is much more broader and represents almost whole of mathematics, represented by Leelavati, Aryabhatiyam, etc. Maybe we'll take up those questions. I think I'm kind of done with my initial set of questions. I'll try to open it up to the viewers if they want to ask Arunji or Jitendra ji any specific questions.
So can I quickly summarize that point that you just I saw?
Yeah,
So
please,
Leelavati,
please.
right? So first of all, mathematics originates with shunya, with zero, right? And the decimal number system and arithmetic, algebra, geometry. The three sections, one after the other, has to be learned in specific order that the guru envisions to be told. Right? By 8 to 9 years of age, the child should understand calculus completely and can understand infinite series, expressions, Bija Ganitam, everything. But unfortunately, whenever you think of mathematics, Vedic mathematics, they only think of speed of solving, or they think of Leelavati as puzzles. What is Leelavati? In around 10 AD or around 1100, Bhaskaracharya writes a book to express the pain that he has on missing his daughter's marriage. That pain is Leelavati. Puzzles. He never said solve one puzzle within 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. He never said. But today, IIT JEE or any big competitive exams or anything is just using Leelavati's technique to say, I give a time domain, solve the problem within some amount of time. That is why syllabus don't change for 100 years. And you still get exams getting more and more complex because you're just pushing the child to that time window. Now, and you're increasing the analytical component of every component, every problem. You induce trigonometry, induce vectors, you induce geometry, you induce all these things. You just bloat the component. That is why India is not producing scientists. So again and again, I see this Indic wisdom, Indic knowledge people, IKS, all of us taking only Leelavati, Leelavati, Leelavati. Leelavati has lived its life. Now, what we have to do is connect arithmetic, algebra, geometry through Bharatiya Ganita stories and reform these words, these Sanskrit words, be bold in understanding what they would have done and just not publish 100 different books again and again on Leelavati and only think of mathematics as a Sanskrit wisdom. It's beyond Sanskrit wisdom and beyond bragging right of who owns it, and really looking at the child and connecting to modern mathematics is a need of the hour. I think it also applies to multiple other areas, but in mathematics, whenever I hear Leelavati, I cringe because it is absolutely not useful for the society today. And giving it in again in Gurukulams and Veda Parashala, increasing the speed of people, Vedic mathematics people, is not going to help anybody at all. So I would like to think of it differently. We go to Mantra Shastra, Yantra, and Tantra, understanding more of what we have done to geometry with Jyotishta, connecting this interdisciplinary area. If you see the whole of engineering today, any institute you go, I was at Triple ITD Kanchipuram yesterday, they connected all of interdisciplinary work. So like that, the Indic study has to be interdisciplinary. Indic study is too much into silos now. One person claiming right on one area, holds on to it, and gets authentication from somebody outside the country, has to come and endorse it as a good work. And then one more silo, which is around basic shastras of Rasayana Shastra, for example. They have like small areas. Today, 7 countries are working on carbon quantum tubes, carbon quantum dots made out of cow dung. Today, Japan is leading. 6 other countries are making it out of cow dung. Why cow dung? It has got a paramagnetic diamagnetic spin. It has a weak biolaser. It has a property that is doing biorespiration. It is giving gift to the society. So we need interdisciplinary Gurukula-based research with husband, wife, family, Vanaprastha, Tambadi, Sannyasi, everybody together with a holistic environment that appreciates every DNA as God's gift. That because the world is observing how much we are researching as well. So we have to reciprocate it and give. Actually, Karthik ji, to add to what you mentioned, Kattradu Kaiman Nalave. You mentioned Kaiman Nalave. It's beautiful. They say in Tamil. If you take 1 hand fist of soil, it is 30 grams in weight. It has 3 trillion microorganisms. 3 into 10 to the power of 12. So 1 hand fist of soil itself is unbelievable learning, right? You put that 1 hand fist of soil into a drum. You put gomayam into it, cow urine into it. How do you collect cow urine? You cannot collect cow urine through flooring drum under the. It will slip and fall. It will break its hip. You have to collect gomayam only with now and Brahma Muhurtam behind. That gomayam, if you collect it and you put it along with 1 hand fist of soil and jaggery and basin dal and mix it, in about 3 days it becomes 10,000 times in number of quantity. The world is watching how much we are farming naturally, how much we are appreciating the gut, microbes, One Health, everything together along with science, maths. I'm happy to share this with you. Please.
Great points. So I think we'll open it up now for audience questions, and Mr. Melvin from the audience has been posting some very good thoughts. Sir, if you want to share anything, please do, and also feel free to ask questions. It's an open debate going forward.
Excellent. धन्यवाद सुप्रभातम. Excellent points by Sri Jitendra Tiwari ji. Namaskar आपको. And also the other speaker from Chennai. I am from Kavi Kulguru Kalidas Sanskrit University, the Center of Distance and Online Education. I work here as a technical manager. I am deploying the Samarth e-governance portal. So my connect with employability Sanskrit has all happened by a matter of by chance. So the idea of employability, and when I hear people, and the only thing people think about being employable is a job, that is working for somebody, is a bit depressing, because the modern day needs people, job creators. The modern day needs people who can give jobs to people, as well as make a career for themselves. So the Kavi Kulguru Kalidas Sanskrit University, I mean, I shared a link of an article which I connected with my director, who is from education, and the possibilities of the creating opportunity, particularly with uh, using Indian knowledge systems along with the modern day education. I mean, it could be British, it could be American. I mean, I wouldn't get that, but in the reason for everything what has happened in the past. But we learn from our past, and in the present, we see that there are some remedies which are there, and these are not some remedies; these are infinite remedies. I mean, we see architectures in India which is like geometrically perfect before the engineering volumes of books were written. The mathematical calculations to the the furthest decimal places. But having been connected with Kavi Kulguru Kalidas Sanskrit University, which is uh, uh, the only Sanskrit university in Maharashtra. And I'll beg to differ with our speaker, Jitendra Tiwari, that the Uttar Pradesh Sanskrit curriculum is the best. I've been, attending a lot of these programs. Central Sanskrit University is doing great work. They have got 24 centers all over India. It is creating scholars, it is creating opportunities, it is creating opportunity for research, which is mandatory. It's not only about learning, it's about understanding unanswered questions and trying to come up with answers. Okay, and for that, I would just want to kind of share my thought. Learning Sanskrit is something that should be made. I would not say compulsory or mandatory. The environment should be such that everybody would want to learn Sanskrit. We should have such sessions only in Sanskrit. We have somebody who doesn't understand Hindi. There's somebody who doesn't like to speak in English because it is like a legacy and the British. Why not Sanskrit? I mean, we need to look at actually encouraging that, not from the point of view of taking up education in Vastu Shastra or Jyotish Shastra or becoming any of those. Each of these have got employability opportunities. I'm going to actually work with UPAI, LTPC based NGO. And we are going to work on vocational courses where people from the rural areas can take up Indian knowledge system based courses, and when they are learning, they are also able to earn. So few things like this can be opened up. I mean, not everything has to be made very complicated. This can be simplified. And what I believe is people who are basically from the academics and education field to come up with stories, to come up with publications which are simplified, easy to understand, come up with such kind of thought leadership sessions. And somewhere the focus. I mean, I've been to developer, which is close by to Ramtech, sir, and I've seen the good work they do. I mean, the Gau Mata, what it gives to the human is like it's impeccable. I mean, it's something which it's like a depth. What do we give back to the Gau Mata? जितेंद्र जी आप बताओ हम गौ माता को क्या दे रहे हो हाँ वहां पे कभी कभी जो बीमार होती है गाय उसको इग्नोर किया जाता है हम जो अच्छा स्टोरी है वही बताते हैं लेकिन गौ माता हमको इतना देती है हम आप कुछ बता सकते हैं कि हम गौ माता का हम जैसे इतना ऑक्सीजन लेते हैं हम कितना सोचते हैं कि कितना पेड़ लगाएं ये सब चीज जो है एक कॉमन है ये इसके लिए आपको ना पाठ्यशाला में जरूरी ये हमको हम बचपन में कम्युनिटी लिविंग में सीखे हैं जो हम प्राइमरी स्कूल में थे हम भूल जाते हैं क्योंकि हमको सबको अपना करियर बनाना है वेतन बनाना है तो इसका हम सवाल आपसे जवाब सुनना चाहते हैं कि हम जो गौ माता को रिटर्न में क्या दे रहे हैं हम गौ माता से बहुत कुछ लेते हैं हमने सब चीज हमें इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम से बहुत कुछ लेना I just conclude my thoughts and my question. One of them is I already asked to Jitendra Tiwari, and the other scholar who was speaking about coming back from America and discovering, opportunities through IIT and working some kind of I mean there are opportunities, but then somewhere you have to see that these opportunities are kind of extended to the stakeholders who are more needed. I mean, we are not talking about urban population. There's a huge rural population who needs to be employed. And not only few people like Karthik or Jitendra ji can think about them. Everybody has to think about it. So that's my thought and my question. Jitendra ji, आपसे मैं उसका जवाब सुनना चाहता
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मिलिंद जी। एक हम जैसे कहते हैं कि माँ का ऋण कभी चुका नहीं सकते हैं, तो मुझे तो नहीं लगता हम माँ का ऋण कभी चुका पाएंगे। गौ हमारी माता है। हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा यही कर सकते हैं कि जो गौचर भूमि है, जो हमारे मतलब कई पीढ़ियों से एक पद्धति भारत में चली आई है कि हर लगभग 2 गांव के बीच में एक पर्याप्त गौचर भूमि छोड़ी जाती थी। वो आज भी जो राजस्व अगर हम विभाग का फाइल देखेंगे तो उसमें बहुत सारी गौचर भूमि आज भी है। लेकिन वहां पर क्या हो रहा है कि कुछ जो लालची हैं वो लोग गौचर भूमि को कब्जा कर ले रहे हैं, या कहीं कहीं ऐसा भी देखा जा रहा है कि जो सरकारें हैं, गवर्नमेंट्स हैं, वो गवर्नमेंट्स उस भूमि को अन्य उपयोग के लिए ट्रांसफर कर दे रही हैं। तो अगर हम गौ माता को जो उनका गौचर भूमि है उसको बचाने में मदद करें, और उनको जैसे गर्मी के महीना है यहाँ पे बुंदेलखंड जैसे क्षेत्र हो गए, यहाँ पे पीने के नदी सूख जाती, क्योंकि हम जो नदी में पानी रहता है उसको खेत में डाल देते हैं मोटर वगैरह से, तो पानी की बहुत समस्या होती है। इसके लिए वो बहुत परेशान हो जाती है। तो अगर हम उन्हें पानी की व्यवस्था कर दें तो मुझे लग रहा है कि उनको पानी की व्यवस्था करना, उनको जो उनका ऑलरेडी भूमि जो उनके नाम पे रिजर्व है वो भूमि उनके लिए खुला छोड़ देना, अगर इतना ही हम कर दें तो मुझे लग रहा है बहुत हो जाएगा। और वैसे तो करने को हम जैसे अपने माता पिता की सेवा करते हैं, तो ये हमारा कर्तव्य है कि जिसने हमें बड़ा किया है, हमें योग्य बनाया है, तो हमें हमारा एक कर्तव्य है कि हम उसको बदले में सेवा करें। तो आपने जैसे कहा हम क्या सेवा कर सकते हैं, तो एक तो जो मुख्य हम लोग कर सकते हैं कि उनको उनकी जो महत्व है, जो उनका उपयोगिता है, उस महत्व और उपयोगिता को समाज में स्थापित करना, ये एक हम एज अ जो हम शिक्षक की तरह एक जो हमारी भूमिका है उसके रूप में हम कर सकते हैं।
जी धन्यवाद जितेंद्र जी, धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Any other questions from anybody in the audience or comments? Feel free to let's have a dialogue. Anybody wants to?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Seema ji. Yeah, please.
Good morning. I'm Seema Sharma. I've been sustainability consultant with the major corporates like DLF, Infosys, Taj GVK, and Airtel also as well. So the thing is, as we are talking about the ancient principles and how is it getting correlated with the modern things, and so I remember that when I was giving consultancy for the Airtel campus, there was a tree over there which was quite an old tree, and it was interfering with the current scenario over there. So they just wanted to get it either uprooted or somehow discarded somewhere. So so at that time, I was just because it was a tree, kind of, it was having a glorious presence, the kind of tree it was. So so there was someone who was talking about, no, we didn't used to do this thing and all that thing, because it has a lot of Vedic significance and all that. So, and I was also having a mind, why not to keep it, or why not to, if we can't keep it, then let's take it, let's transplant it somehow. So we then we installed the practices like that, and we managed it somehow, getting it somewhere along with the total root system and transplanting it somewhere else. And we succeeded also in that. Eventually, that was a more than the project and more than the consultancy, it was a bigger achievement for me at that time. So now my question over here is that, like both of our honorary speakers, they are talking about the ancient practices inculcated into the modern day life, and how they are doing it very well. So the thing is, as any NEP says, and NPTL is also, it's all about the freedom, and it's all about the modern day education system. Then how, see, how can we make the people aware? It's, he is doing it at his place, then he is confined to a particular territory and a particular region, and the other speaker of ours is confined to the Madhya Pradesh, and he's now in Uttar Pradesh somehow. But how to bring it to the more broader perspective, to the more broader podium? How can we bring it, and what all shall we do, other than, like, what they are doing is they might be publicizing it through some of Instagram and all that, but how to bring it in practice that, more and more people can adapt to it.
Okay, Arunji or Jitendra ji, you want to take this? So what I think in a nutshell, what she's saying is, how can we mainstream this? I mean, there are people doing it in pockets here and there, but can we mainstream some of these? And what is your take on that? What would be your recommendations on that?
To find where the original bulls and cows are and develop on that. Unfortunately, I go to that fulcrum point wherever the original bulls are found. That place is a very special place God shaped today. So setting a center around that, people are able to give 1,000 acres of land, 2,000 acres of land for leasing for 10, 20 years easily nowadays. Right now, only wisdom is necessary to connect all these pieces together. So to mainstream this into Yata Raja Tata Praja, right? Over the Raja is, the Praja will be like that. Now, we can't change everything over one night because the Praja is the real Raja here in democracy. So whoever is, if the question is about maintaining all of what we said, right? Is that right? Did I hear that correctly?
Thank you so much.
Sorry?
Yeah, thank you. You're right. Jitendra ji, you want to add any perspectives to that?
हाँ
How do
जी 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 मैं सीमा जी ने बहुत बढ़िया प्रश्न किया है कि इसको कैसे मेन स्ट्रीम किया जाए। तो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है, अगर आप किसी चीज को अगर मेन स्ट्रीम करना चाहते हैं तो उसके बारे में महत्व बुद्धि का निर्माण करना। जब तक व्यक्ति को वो किसी वस्तु का महत्व नहीं पता चलता, मान लीजिए कि अगर हमें किसी चीज का पता है कि हाँ, ये गणित की पढ़ाई करने से आप इंजीनियर बन जाएंगे, या इसको करने से आपको ये फायदा होने वाला है, आपको भविष्य में ये लाभ होगा, तो बच्चों का उसमें एक इंटरेस्ट निर्माण होता है। वैसे ही जैसे अपना वृक्षों के बारे में सीमा जी ने बात किया, तो वृक्षों को तो हमारे यहाँ जैसे आप भगवान श्री कृष्ण की उखल बंधन लीला देखेंगे तो कैसे उसमें से भगवान मतलब देवता प्रकट होते हैं। तो वृक्ष भी एक अपने जीवन के एक महत्वपूर्ण अंग है, और वृक्ष नहीं होने से पर्यावरण में असंतुलन फैलता है, ये तो हम सब देख ही रहे हैं। तो वृक्षों से हमें कनेक्ट करना पड़ेगा। जैसे हमारे पिताजी मुंबई में रहते थे, हम मुंबई में रहते थे, तो वहां से हमारे पिताजी विशेष करके हम लोगों को प्रायः गांव में लेकर आते थे। गांव में आने के बाद फिर हम यहाँ पर अपनी जो प्रकृति है, पेड़ है, मट्टी है, गौ माता है, इनसे हम बचपन से काफी जुड़े रहते थे। इसके कारण आज हमारे अंदर ये लगाव पैदा हो गया है कि मुंबई रहने के बावजूद हमें मुंबई का जो एनवायरनमेंट है वो हमें मतलब अपनी तरफ नहीं खींच पाया। हमें गांव का वातावरण अच्छा लगा, क्योंकि हमारे पिताजी ने बचपन से ही हमें गांव में ये शिक्षा दी कि गांव का लाइफ ऐसा होता है, इसका ये महत्व है। तो अपने बच्चों को मट्टी से जोड़ना, क्योंकि आजकल हम प्रायः देखते हैं कि मट्टी लग गया मतलब खेल के आया बच्चा, मतलब कि ये गंदा है। मट्टी गंदगी नहीं होती है, मट्टी तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है। मट्टी से अगर वहां पे जैसे रासायनिक कचरा ना हो तो अलग बात है, अन्यथा जो गांव की मट्टी होती है वो तो काफी महत्वपूर्ण होती है। उससे लोग, यहाँ के लोग नहाते भी हैं और काफी सारी दवाएं भी बनती हैं मट्टी से। तो अपने बच्चों को जड़ों से जोड़ना, उनको पर्यावरण से जोड़ना, जितना संभव हो सके उसके बारे में महत्व बुद्धि का निर्माण करना, इन तरह से एक हम अपना व्यक्तिगत योगदान कर सकते हैं। वैसे तो जो एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है सरकार उसके द्वारा काफी कुछ कर सकती है। जैसे हमारे गुरुकुलों में जो शिक्षा होती थी, गुरुकुलों में जो शिक्षा होती थी वो पेड़ के नीचे ही होती थी। और हमारे जो गुरुकुल में एक आयुर्वेद नाम का जो टॉपिक पढ़ाया जाता था, तो आयुर्वेद अभी भी है, लेकिन हमको अभी आयुर्वेद के जो पेड़ पौधे हैं, कौन सा पौधा है वो पता नहीं है। जबकि कई सारे पौधे हैं, जैसे पुनर्नवा का पौधा हो गया, हमने देखा एक ऐसे ही अपामार्ग का पौधा हो गया, ये सड़क के किनारे लगे रहते हैं, लेकिन हमको पता ही नहीं है कि इस पेड़ का क्या महत्व है, इस पौधे का क्या महत्व है। और वो
Bringraj also, along with the Bringraj also, almost along with the dirty gutters, you will see that the Bringraj, you know.
जी जी, तो हम उसको पहचान, हमको उस पौधे की पहचान नहीं है। पौधे की पहचान नहीं होने के कारण हम मतलब एक तरह से दूसरों के ऊपर निर्भर हो गया। अन्यथा बहुत सारे जो जड़ी बूटियां हैं, जो छोटे मोटे जो इलाज हैं, वो हम अपने से ही कर सकते हैं। तो इससे भी एक महत्व बुद्धि का निर्माण होता है। फिर हमको पर्यावरण से या अपने आसपास से एक कनेक्शन का निर्माण होता है। और जैसे गौ माता से अगर बात करें तो गौ माता का जो दूध तो अमृत है ही, उसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है। लेकिन गौमूत्र से जो अलग अलग अर्क बनते हैं, जैसे त्रिफला अर्क है, एक नंदी अर्क है, तो इन अर्कों से अलग अलग जो लक्षण होते हैं, बीमारियां होती हैं, उनका समाधान होता है। इनमें कोई साइड इफेक्ट भी नहीं है। इसको आप स्वयं से भी प्रयोग कर सकते हैं। और काफी इसका जो अगर आप जैसे अभी मिलविन जी ने कहा था कि देवलापार में गो विज्ञान अनुसंधान केंद्र है, तो वहां पे आप देखेंगे कि उन्होंने एक पुस्तक इसके ऊपर लिखी हुई है कि जो अर्क हैं, अर्क अलग अर्क के प्रयोग से कैसे जिन केसेस में मतलब एलोपैथी वाले डॉक्टरों ने मना कर दिया था कि भाई हम ये नहीं कर सकते, तो वहां पे उन्होंने उस चीज का अर्क वगैरह से या अन्य दवाओं से ट्रीटमेंट किया। उसका बहुत अच्छा इम्पैक्ट पड़ा। उन्होंने पूरा उसको एकदम किताब के रूप में लिखा हुआ है।
Thank you so much, Jitendra ji. It's really very well said, and you very well explained that, we'll have to deal the things at the family level. Foundation starts from the family level only. That's what you have said. And second is what has not been dealt by the allopathy. And since the Ayurveda deals with the root cause of the problem, and it starts fighting from the root cause only. So thank you so very much. Thank you.
Karthik sir, there was one, I think, statement which I saw, which maybe I would wish you or one of the experts to explain, that there was a word used, why is the government enforcing IKS? So I think that the word enforcing may be a little bit misconstructed, because I mean what we are seeing as an alternative to modern day education, just like French is introduced or foreign language is introduced or some vocational course is introduced. So, and I don't feel that the government is trying to enforce. The government is trying to create an alternative to make learning easier. तो इसमें क्या था ना, जितेंद्र जी, यहाँ पे एक स्टेटमेंट आया कि आईकेएस को जबरदस्ती पाठ्यक्रम में घुसाया जा रहा है। इस पे आपके कोई विचार हो, आप अपना शेयर करें, ताकि लोगों को, मतलब अपने, ये डिस्कशन का मैटर है, आई मीन कोई फोर्स तो हो नहीं रहा, सभी वोटिंग करके हमारा करते हैं ना, तो आप
जी धन्यवाद। आपने बहुत महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्न उठाया। आईकेएस, तो सबसे पहले तो मैं ये पूछना चाहूंगा कि आईकेएस है क्या, लोगों को ये पता होना चाहिए। इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम, इसको हम लोग नॉर्मली बोलते हैं इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम, लेकिन आईकेएस का मैं सही कहूँ तो अभी दिल्ली में मेरी आईकेएस से जो संबंधित डिपार्टमेंट है, भारत सरकार का डिपार्टमेंट है, जिसे प्रोफेसर गंटी जी उसको संभालते हैं, तो वहां पे भी बहुत सारा कंफ्यूजन है आईकेएस के बारे में। वो इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम मतलब उसमें फिर वो लोग हालांकि जो मतलब मुगल आने के बाद जो उन्होंने जो अपने साथ जो कुछ भी उन्होंने, उनका जो एक पद्धति था, वो उसको भी आईकेएस में इंक्लूड करने का चर्चा कर रहे थे। तो एक यहाँ पर तो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि अभी सरकार के स्तर में ही संभवतः ये दुविधा है कि आईकेएस है क्या। आईकेएस में क्या हम जो हमारा वैदिक या जो बहुत हमारे संतों ने या हमारे जो ऋषि मुनियों ने दिया है वो आईकेएस है, या कि फिर जो पर्शियन लोग आए हैं वो भी आईकेएस है? तो इसमें ही बहुत सारा एक मुझे लग रहा है कि अभी सरकार के स्तर पे क्लियरिटी नहीं है। और दूसरा मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा, आईकेएस जहां तक मेरा विचार है, ये मेरा मतलब ये है, आईकेएस क्या है? ये एक जीवन पद्धति है। आईकेएस खाली एक कोई विषय नहीं है कि आईकेएस कोई एक विषय है। जैसे हमने शुरुआत में कहा, धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष, इन चारों पुरुषार्थों का जब तक सम्मेलन नहीं होगा किसी भी जीवन पद्धति में, चाहे वो शिक्षा शिक्षा तो एक माध्यम है कि आप लोगों को तैयार कर रहे हैं आगे का भविष्य के लिए, आप तैयार कर रहे हैं लोगों को। तो और जैसे यहाँ धर्म की एक परिभाषा में बताना चाहूंगा कि लोग धर्म के बारे में बहुत उनको संभवतः एक रहता है कि धर्म मतलब कि एक संकीर्णता की दृष्टि से देखते हैं, लेकिन धर्म ऐसा नहीं है। धर्म की परिभाषा है कि आप लोगों को इस तरह से अपने जीवन मतलब अर्थोपार्जन के लिए, जैसे आपको जीविका चलाना है तो जीविका चलाने की ऐसी पद्धति जिसके द्वारा आप एक जो आपका जो मतलब एक आपकी जो आवश्यकताएं हैं, जैसे जिसको काम कहते हैं, काम, तो आप कामोपभोग भी कर सकें। उसके द्वारा आपका लौकिक जो ये वर्तमान जीवन है, लौकिक जीवन में तो आपका उत्कर्ष हो ही, इसके साथ साथ आपका जो पारलौकिक जीवन है, हालांकि भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा में ऐसा रहा है कि इस मृत्यु के बाद भी जन्म होता है, हमारी भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा में ऐसा माना जाता है। तो धर्म का अर्थ होता है एक ऐसी अर्थोपार्जन की ऐसी पद्धति जिसके द्वारा वर्तमान जीवन में तो आपका उत्कर्ष हो ही, इसके बाद जब आप मृत्यु के उपरांत पुनः आप नया जन्म लें तो वहां पर भी आपका उत्कर्ष हो, तो उसे हम लोग धर्म करते हैं। तो मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा कि धर्म और अर्थ काम मोक्ष, इनको सम्मिलित जब तक नहीं करेंगे तब तक सही आईकेएस नहीं होगा।
Okay, I'll just have a few comments before I give it to you, Bhavik ji. Bhavik Govind Patel ji has raised his hand. See, there is one, as Jitendra ji has explained, there is some confusion even in the department in terms of the terminologies. Okay, let us not worry about the terminologies part. And Rinchen Tamang ji has raised a good question. Is it Indian knowledge system or indigenous knowledge? I would personally feel, indigenous. What is applicable to this part of the world where we are living in, which we have been practicing for many years? Because the problem that happens is, whether we like it or not, some of us have been. We should not get into the fight of India is the best or West is the best. That is not useful. Because ancient Indian systems, maybe Rigveda में एक quote है, आनो भद्रो क्रतवो न मूला, which means let the noble thoughts come from all directions. Even in ancient Bharat, we didn't restrict to the geographical territory of Bharat. We had scholars moving in and out. So let the best knowledge come in and come out. That is what we've always followed. But the reason for I'm just guessing, okay, I'm not an expert, I'm just guessing why Indian has been re-emphasized is too much of our education is not what we had until the 18th century. Until 17th or 18th century, whatever the system of education practices we had as a country or this geographic region has been completely changed to a system that is more applicable to different other parts of the world. So to restore it back, some name has to be given, right? Let us get back to our ways of living. We can call it ways of living. Okay. So it could have been called indigenous. So let us not worry about the technical terms here and get lost. The broader idea is, what have we been following for many, many years, which we lost in the colonial times? And what are we missing out by losing that? Because we know that the current system of education is also not very helpful. There is a lot of stress. There are problems related to environment. Even outside India, people are looking towards India for our ancient knowledge. Okay. So it is not about boasting about India is the best. and the others are bad. That is not our ever been our purpose. India, we have always wanted the right knowledge and the best knowledge to come from all parts of the world. That is what I would say. Over to you, Bhavik ji. You have raised your hand.
Yes, sir.
Hope
Namaste,
that
sir.
answers Riochan ji. Riochan Tamang ji. Hope that answers your question. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead, Bhavik ji.
Namaste, sir. Namaste to both the experts as well. Sir, being a school teacher, I always wonder, because I am also studying little bit of, Vedanta here in Rishikesh. And I also do some seva in some schools, underprivileged schools. And, learning Upanishads, Vedas, and Bhagavad, Ramayana, all these things. But when I enter into schools, I see a different environment altogether there. So I wonder, what the experts, being taught in the schools for so many years they have been teaching into teaching. How do they, make sure that there is a balance between IKS and the modern education, where they help children rightfully in building uh, their characters, right thinking, and exploring rather than memorizing, bringing awareness into kids about the Indian knowledge system, or maybe dharma artha, or how to be a dharmi, how to be how to follow the dharma basically. So what exactly is their teaching method or pattern, and how they bring their knowledge into actual practice when it comes to the real world? Yes, sir.
Can I take this?
Yes, please go ahead, Arunji. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So now, so it's a brilliant question, right? So thank you so much. I really appreciate the question person also regarding this. So now, what we're trying to do is in the year 1790. Second off on it. 1 second. Off on it. 1 second off on it. In the year 1790, for the first time, the Britishers found 200 war children in Egmore in Chennai. The first time. This is when they had the wars were finished. Portuguese, French wars, and Carnatic wars are over. And in that time, there were about 200 children who were not able to be taught. There are Anglo children in Egmore. And Dr. Andrew Bell, he came to Egmore and he took guidance from a gurukulam and he documented it, saying that Indian gurus are teaching 8 children at one point of time, and those 8 are teaching 8 more, and 200 children are learning whatever the guru is teaching in just 2 days with just one sand slate. Entire India is becoming literate this way. This is 1790. And he calls it as Madras Asylum School of Education and takes it to Britain in 1790 for the first time. So West had no school system at all at 1790, and this spread all over Europe. There is documentation of multiple people taking this aggressively and following for the next 20 years as if this is a great invention. What is the invention here is to group people. The smartness of the guru to group people in numbers of 8, and seeing this as scale, everybody got greedy in the Europe thinking they can do this fantastically, took it back there. And they could not get that grouping correct. They were confused. They were creating more problems in the society. So they came back here and started counting the number of gurukulams in 1811. How many gurukulams were there in 1811? They found there were 732,000 gurukulams. When the first school, so-called redesigned school, came back from Britain to India, and that redesigned school had benches like churches would have, and one pastor or a teacher who would have a book in the hand and stand in front of 30 people, not 8 people. So 8 people was changed to 30 for indoctrination. So the purpose of education was drifted, and there is a lot of evidence even before 400 years how religious touch wanted to pull away the education from Ganita Shastram, from mathematics, from India to West. Like for the first time, the symbol was introduced plus. It is a holy cross by Robert Recorde in 1555. So there was a confusion as to whether religion comes first or education comes first, and this information was lost. It's 1811. And then the English Education Act came in India. When the English Education Act came, Ananda Mohan Bose, a professor from a student from Bengal, he went up to Cambridge, became the wrangler of that university. The most intellectual person in Britain is called wrangler. He came back to India and he said, please do not teach in English. English is a terrible language to be taught. They changed English Education Act. He did not even fight for freedom. He fought for language. And he said his brother should not learn English. His own brother's name is J.C. Bose, Jagdish Chandra Bose. He stopped him from learning from 13 years of age. And then only he was introduced to science. And that is why we have the great radio waves today and the crescograph and the understanding of soil today. So India's education, if you have to look at it from 1800 to 1900, there were a lot of ups and downs that has to be documented, that should be brought in as a part of our culture, our bloodline today, so that we can actually understand and experience mathematics, blend the best of West and India. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And sir, only one thing, now, after so much of experience and into teaching, into Vedas and everything, maths, when you enter into your class, what first thoughts, come into your mind? Like, how do you see your classroom?
The first thing is I see the classroom as opportunities for me to teach something new. So it takes me 15 hours to learn something that takes only 5 minutes to teach it. In that 5 minutes of teaching, a teacher would have learned something new that would otherwise take 15 hours to learn by himself. So this iteration is India's great knowledge of Guru Sishya Parampara. So we reverse the table. When somebody asks me how much fee should I pay for my student, I ask them back, should I pay or should he pay? Because he has brought me to the fringe of that question when that I'm able to answer and able to get my own thought that would otherwise taken 15 hours to learn by myself. So every time I enter a classroom, I have overpouring sense of gratitude, and and then I also observe whether it is just groups of 8 or more, or how much it has a resemblance to Goshala, to be in short. They are scanning us completely. So I'm presenting myself to that scan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Arunji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great question and great answer there. Who wants to go next? Some of you have shared your thoughts on chat. I mean, if you want to ask a question or share your comments, please feel free to do so now.
Actually, Karthik sir, there was one question that a couple of participants are asking. Maybe that was their expectation when they actually joined this session was implementing IPS in
Yeah.
mainstream education, and I think
Yes.
particularly to do with engineering. So I mean, the question little bit baffles me, like why embed something like IPS into a mainstream course? It should be a complementary thing, just like UGC has said, like students should actually do NPTEL courses to gain credit. So now what happens is when the mindset that, a student can gain credit, and this credit through academic bank of credit is recognized by the education system and benefits the students when they go for higher studies or the next level. So just in terms of learning, I mean, I'm also myself now doubting, like, why is something being resisted, or why there is, I mean, we talk about religion, we talk about spirituality, we talk about faith. I mean, these are all matters. I mean, in Kavi Kuru, Kalida Sanskrit, we have Muslims who are studying Sanskrit, Muslims who are studying Yoga Shastra. I just recently read that there is a university in Pakistan, rather two universities in Pakistan, which are offering postgraduate Sanskrit degrees because there are some original manuscripts, and very few scholars are accessing it. So I think a couple of minutes on that, just to clear that air,
Yeah.
that this is not to be enforced; it is to be accepted, understood, and accepted.
Sure. Yeah. No. I think it's a very valid question. So, see, national education policy, among its different tenets, okay, it is a recommendation or guidelines in terms of what we envisage the future of education to be. Okay. For example, when they say social emotional learning is to be incorporated, because we see a lot of stress in the children, they said the teaching methodologies have to be amended to current times, like storytelling, games, cartoon, animation based. These are all recommendations coming from the government, and we are going to be interviewing people who practice that. So similarly, when it comes to IKS, what they find is given that we are completely following a system that was thrust on us many years by the British. And it is time for us to go back to the original system. And while the idea is not that replace the current system with something new, that is not what the government certainly wants. In fact, the two people whom we have brought, they themselves are not replacing. They say that the modern education, what is needed for today's life, is continuing, but can we supplement it with our ancient ways of living, and more importantly, integrate these two together? Because as Jitendra ji said, unless people find value, see, nobody is going to sit in patashalas today if it is not going to help them get livelihood. Nobody will even attend it. Okay. But at the same time, what are people missing out by just doing the Western education? Okay, you get the grades, you score high marks in 12th. You don't learn about your culture and country. You just go into engineering or medicine or any discipline. You again start chasing your corporate life or whatever it is, right? Our Indian way has always been about integrating multiple dimensions. Yes, there is a learning part, there is a earning part. Then following our dharma, artha, kama, moksha, fulfilling our desires, earning money, earning wealth is completely acceptable. But do it in a dharmic way without losing your values. Are we being taught that in our systems? It is okay to fulfill our desires. It is okay to earn money. But the dharma was the base. Okay. And as you rightly said, it is we wanted to keep the discussion away from any kind of religion, because Sanatana Dharma is not a religion. It is not necessarily Hinduism. It is a way of living. Sanatana Dharma means eternal Dharma, the Dharma that sustains, sustainable Dharma, way of living. So, which is why I said, even in ancient India, we had different cultures, different sects, etc., sects, subsects, etc. And we invited scholars from countries like China. There is documented evidence of people traveling abroad. Some of our rishis also have been abroad, what we call as abroad today, in different parts of the world. So, coming back, what we are trying to have a discussion around is, see, one way of integrating any IKS is just to introduce chapters in textbooks, but that will be only a theoretical rendering, right? We are not supposed to integrate something for the sake of it. The two guests we consciously have their presence only because they have integrated in a holistic sense. The idea is not that none of us can run patashalas like them. Not everybody can do it. But can we borrow certain things? For example, we can be very much running in our own school or college, whatever sanstha we are a part of. But can we expose them to farming? That is one takeaway, at least for me, right? Because both of them believe that uh, exposing them to the farming gives them, what do you say, an exposure that our traditional classroom teaching learning will not give. Okay. We should get away from, in fact, NEP even advocates getting away from theory. It should be more towards experiential learning. Okay. Now, what are the other experiences that our today's children or young adults are not exposed to? That is a question we can ask ourselves. And what is it that we borrow, what we can borrow from these practitioners? Now, Arunji is an exception. Jitendra ji is an exception because they have been given the organization and infrastructure and support systems that maybe they uniquely can do. But we can borrow things from what they are doing. That is the whole purpose of this discussion. What is it that we can do in our own environments? Okay, by bringing in Indian knowledge system practices into our livelihood in whatever capacity we are, right? That's the whole point. For example, IKS need not be just a theoretical rendering. Let us say, for example, in an engineering class, right? We will be definitely discussing only, let's say, civil engineering, mechanical engineering. We'll be following American authors. That's what is happening in most cases, which is not wrong. That is not at all wrong. But can we also talk about our ancient Indian structures which are still surviving? The classic example is the Brihadishwara temple, which is 1,000 years old. A civil engineer should know how come today's buildings are not lasting for 20 years
How come a temple that was built 1,000 years back is lasting? So similarly, let's say there are examples of nice wells and cut wells in Gujarat and Rajasthan. Okay, how come those systems without documented knowledge are serving many years later? If a civil engineer should have that curiosity, of course, it need not be a part of the syllabus, it need not be a part of grading, but out of awareness, that is when we get to know ours as a country, rich in heritage, rich in knowledge, and other things. I had the good fortune of attending an IKS session by the expert Professor Mahadevan, who's known to be a renowned expert all over India. He said there is a type of steel called wood steel or something that was prevalent in southern India in the border of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh. It was the most superior steel that other countries wanted to know to produce that kind of a steel. It is no longer available. People are not, in today's advanced engineering, they are not able to prepare that kind of steel. So how come those people had the knowledge? I've also heard that zinc metal, right? India was one of, if I'm not mistaken, it is zinc, or I don't know whether it is copper. I think it is zinc. Zinc, in order to prepare zinc, the world outside India did not have the knowledge of preparing zinc because it had to be probably, I think, what do you say, heated and condensed within certain specific temperature limits. And people came to this part of the world to understand that. So, what I'm trying to say is, it is not about boasting that India is great, India is great. But there is enough and more that we don't know about our own country. That is something that teachers can get curious and incorporate alongside the lessons they teach. That will instigate curiosity. Some of the students may get curious and do research more in those areas. It is not about forcing or fitting anybody into anything. The moment we say we are superior, there goes the argument. Because none of us is superior, all of us are lifelong learners. And even today, there are best practices in other countries that India needs to follow, India needs to learn from. But at the same time, we don't have to think that India is worst, India will never progress. That is unfortunately the argument of many of the people also. That we should get away from. We need to connect back to the glory of yesteryears, not from an academic perspective alone, but to get the curiosity and try and see whether we can get some of the ways back in some small pockets. We cannot change the world, as Arun said, in one day, but at least can we get connected a little more back to our own history, our own culture, without putting down anybody else. We don't have to say West is bad. We don't have to say East is bad. We just have to say, hey, we were also great. We continue to be great. Let's take a righteous amount of pride. Let us try to study Indian history not from only from colonialization perspective, but the advances India had in engineering, in medicine, Sushruta, the advances in medicine we had. So can we get some of those back integrated into our daily lives? That's the whole idea about this discussion. That was a little long explanation. Hopefully I was able to clarify the intent, sir.
Thank you so much, Karthik sir. I think the very important point which I thought you drove it was about the conceptualizing and implementing things. It's all like work in progress. I think Suresh ji has been waiting for some time to speak, so I'll
Yeah,
let him
please
speak.
ask. Open to all for asking questions. Yeah, go ahead, please. Suresh ji, please go ahead. Whoever is waiting can ask questions.
I think
Hello,
unmute
Ashish
yourself.
this side.
I'm audible, sir?
Hello.
Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes.
Sir. Good morning, one and all, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I wish to put a point across. Even Dr. Arun sir was mentioning a blend would be right to. It needs a due consideration that there's a blend between the different excellence across the world. So now there are some, for example, when it comes to math, India excelled in math. There's no doubt about it, and also uh, there are some people who talk about it. The contemporary mathematician, Dr. Arthur Benjamin, he says India is has given me this knowledge. So, is there a possibility that we reach out to people like them and try to showcase our own people that uh, there are people who can really benefit from it, and uh, is there something that we can build from that perspective, sir? Because if we start now, maybe it will take some years to lay a foundation, make people realize all this. So uh, will such western people, can they influence in this acceleration process, or taking things across? Is it possible, sir?
I'll
Maybe I'll
just
just
have
take the
one
math
comment and
question.
I'll leave it to the others. I'll leave it to the others. So blending is the way ahead. It is not a replacement. I agree with you that blending is the only sustainable way. We are not here to replace anything. Can we learn our Indian systems also in addition to modern? Okay, there is no replacement. So with that, I'll hand it over to Arun ji or Jitendra ji to add their perspectives.
Sure, sure. So I'll perhaps add. So uh, our excellence in math is entirely because we went Shruti for the most part. For 90% of the time, we went only through voice, right? We never wrote too many things, and the visualizations were impeccable. Our ability to perceive objects were very high, and we observed patterns a lot, and we felt a lot of things around us, much more than what we feel today around us. So the samarthya vriddhi and samskara adhanam, right? The two dimensions which often people talk about were very high. So now the question that we have to ask is, who are those people who are asking those difficult questions today? And is there a satsang among them who are asking those questions, right? And who have experienced the bliss of mathematics? Whether how do we switch from let me give something for everybody right now, dilute it and give it, or to how do you concentrate it and create a structure around this concentration so that there is less exploitation as possible. So wisdom cannot exploit. The moment an IP is formed, there is always a fear as to who will own it, scoop it, and who will make the next $1 billion product out of it, right? And that thought process is not Bharati at all. Here, the most powerful person here becomes a Brahman seeking for truth. And he goes beyond. He does not even a Kshatriya. He's not defending any territory. He doesn't even have an institution. He's not a vice chancellor. He is not living for 30 years becoming one vice chancellor. He is not anyone at all. He is a person who just seeks for wisdom. So that is when I feel that if you have to really revive these ancient, best of ancient part, whatever these mathematicians have spoke, even now, if you see Mathologer, he talks about Madhava series again and again. Madhava Leibniz series is often quoted, but never backworked from where it is to where it should be. So, so I think it's about finding more of us now in this stage right now than solving the problem. The solving itself is finding more of us and making sure all our people are asking these questions among each other in a very inexploitative form. To say, I don't want to make it a business, I don't want to make it huge. I've, after all, not learned as much as what I could have. So we have to join together, and then I think that will bring us goodness. I hope I answered.
Mhm. I think, sir, we need to decolonize our minds. I mean, we need to go beyond the materialistic view of education. That education is just to prepare for careers, but it is to be prepared for life also. The ancient Indian way of life or Bharatiya way of life. I think we need to reclaim our civilizational self. I think that I believe that should be the part of the whole process. And thank you very much for such an excellent exposition of Indian knowledge system. It was really very enriching, very fertilizing, and it opened many windows for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, go ahead, Jitendra ji, please.
हाँ हाँ मैं ये यहाँ पे ऐड करना चाहता हूँ जो कि हमारे माननीय अरुण जी ने कहा और अभी प्रकाश जी ने कहा कि शिक्षा का उद्देश्य क्या होना चाहिए। तो सबसे पहले शिक्षा क्या उद्देश्य होना चाहिए वो जानने के पहले हमें ये पता होना चाहिए कि हमारे इस जीवन का उद्देश्य क्या है। जब तक हम अपने जीवन का उद्देश्य नहीं समझेंगे तब तक सही शिक्षा हम नहीं प्राप्त कर पाएंगे। अभी आज जो वर्तमान में शिक्षा पद्धति प्रचलित है, उस शिक्षा पद्धति को समझने के बाद तो एक जो मेन पॉइंट समझ में आता है वो यही है कि आज की शिक्षा पद्धति हमें एक जीविका, भविष्य में जीविकापार्जन कैसे करना है उसी के लिए तैयार कर रही है हमें। और लेकिन क्या हम, हमारा जो जीवन का उद्देश्य है वो बस यही है कि आगे हमारी जीविका कैसी हो, हम कैसे अच्छे से भोजन प्राप्त करें, कैसे अन्य सुख सुविधाएं प्राप्त करें, क्या इतना ही हमारे इस जीवन का उद्देश्य है? अ, तो हमारा जो परंपरा कहती है, हमारे जो आचार्य ऋषि मुनि हमें बताकर गए, हमारे जो ग्रंथ हमें कहते हैं, वो कहते हैं कि नहीं, हमारे जीवन का उद्देश्य ये नहीं है। हमारे जीवन का जो अल्टीमेट उद्देश्य है वो है मोक्ष की प्राप्ति। हमारे यहाँ जो चौथा पुरुषार्थ है मोक्ष की प्राप्ति। अब मोक्ष की प्राप्ति करने के लिए हमें अन्य तीन पुरुषार्थों को साधना पड़ेगा। वो जो तीन पुरुषार्थ अच्छे से हम साध पाएंगे तभी जाके अंत में जो लिबरेशन, जो जन्म मृत्यु का जो एक साइकिल है, इस साइकिल को तोड़ना है। तो इसके लिए हमें इस जीवन को ही जो भी हम कार्य कर रहे हैं वो सब कार्यों को उसमें साधना होगा। और शिक्षा पद्धति हमें इसीलिए तैयार, शिक्षा पद्धति का उद्देश्य है कि हमको उस चीज के लिए तैयार करना कि हम ऐसे अर्थोपार्जन की विधा विकसित करें, कामोपभोग की ऐसी विधा विकसित करें जिसके द्वारा हम अंत में मोक्ष को प्राप्त हो सकें। तो और दूसरा एक चीज मैं और ऐड करना चाहूंगा, अभी जो हमारी चर्चा चल रही थी कि आईकेएस क्यों आवश्यक है। तो जैसे कि हम स्कूल में पढ़ते आए हैं, हमारे जो स्कूल, नॉर्मल स्कूल में, कि ये न्यूटन का नियम है, ये पाइथागोरस का थ्योरम है। और जो अभी आजकल हमारे, चाहे हिंदी मीडियम हो चाहे कोई भी हो, वहां पे जो अंक लिखने की पद्धति है उसमें इंग्लिश में ही लिखते हैं। वन, जैसे वन लिखना हो तो वन ऐसे इस तरह से वन लिखेंगे। वो पुराना जो लिखने की पद्धति थी वो छोड़ते जा रहे हैं। तो इससे क्या होता है कि मान लीजिए मेरी पढ़ाई हुई थी तो मैंने एक दो तीन कैसे लिखा जाता है सीखा था। लेकिन अब जो आने, जो मेरे बाद दो जनरेशन, मैंने उनसे पूछा कि आप हिंदी अंक में कोई संख्या लिख के बताएं, तो नहीं लिख पा रहे हैं। तो आने वाले एक दो पीढ़ी बाद क्या होगा, उनको लगेगा कि ये जो गणित का जो सिंपल, अभी तो हमको पता है कि जीरो भारत ने आविष्कार किया, लेकिन बाद में जब दो तीन पीढ़ी बाद क्या हो जाएगा कि हमको खुद ही नहीं पता रहेगा कि ये हमने आविष्कार किया, क्योंकि हम तो बचपन से ही वन टू थ्री लिखते आ रहे हैं। तो इसके लिए भी हमें आईकेएस जानना जरूरी है। जैसे अभी आपने बहुत अच्छे विषयों को उठाया कि जैसे मेटालर्जी में हम कितना उन्नत थे। ये इसलिए हालांकि ज्ञान क्या होता है, कोई भारत का या कोई पश्चिम का या कोई उसका नहीं होता। ज्ञान यूनिवर्सल है, सार्वभौमिक है। जो सत्य है वो यहाँ के लिए भी सत्य है, वो बाहर के लिए भी सत्य है। तो ज्ञान को हम कैटेगराइज नहीं कर सकते कि ये हमारा ज्ञान है, ये वो उनका ज्ञान है। ज्ञान जहां से भी, भारत का तो जो नाम ही है भारत, भारत मतलब जहां पूरा विश्व से जो ज्ञान की खिड़कियां हैं खुली हैं, हर जगह से ज्ञान यहाँ पर आ रहा है, यहाँ पे ज्ञान का प्रकाश फैला हुआ है। तो हमें हर जगह का ज्ञान लेना है, लेकिन हमें ये भी नहीं भूलना है कि हमारा जो अचीवमेंट है वो क्या है, हमारे पूर्वजों का क्या अचीवमेंट है। जैसे अभी केरल का जो कैलकुलस में हम लोग इतना आगे थे, वहां पे पूरा एक पद्धति थी। लेकिन जब हमने पढ़ाई की, बीएससी में हमने पढ़ाई की, मैथ्स की पढ़ाई की, कैलकुलस की पढ़ाई की, तो वहां पे एक भी बार उनका नाम नहीं आया। ट्रिग्नोमेट्री की हमने पढ़ाई की तो उसमें एक भी बार भारतीय गणितज्ञों का नाम नहीं आया। तो इससे एक हीन भावना का निर्माण हो जाता है, आने वाली पीढ़ी के अंदर एक हीन भावना का निर्माण हो जाता है कि हम लोगों के जो पूर्वज थे या हमारी जो परंपरा है उसमें हमने कुछ विशेष नहीं किया है, खाली हम लोगों ने कर्मकांड किया है या कुछ रूढ़िवादिता ये सब हम लोग को सिखा दिया। तो ये हमारे अस्तित्व के लिए बड़े ही हानिकारक है। तो इसलिए मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि जो शिक्षा पद्धति है उसमें जगह जगह में ये बताना आवश्यक है कि जैसे ये जो अंक गणित पढ़ रहे हैं या जो हम ये कैलकुलस पढ़ रहे हैं या जो मेटालर्जी पढ़ रहे हैं या अन्य जो पढ़ रहे हैं, तो उसमें भारतीयों का क्या योगदान है। तो इस चीज को हर जगह रेखांकित किया जाना चाहिए। और दूसरा तो एक, मैं आपकी बातों से, कार्तिक जी की बातों से पूर्णतः सहमत हूं कि ज्ञान सार्वभौमिक होता है। कोई हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि ये मेरा ज्ञान है या ये उसका ज्ञान है। और एक चीज और मैं कहना चाहता हूं, जैसे आयुर्वेद है, योग है, एक प्राणायाम, प्राणायाम को अभी हमने एक देखा था कुछ दिनों पूर्व कि प्राणायाम की जो अनुलोम विलोम की पद्धति है, अनुलोम विलोम प्राणायाम है, उसको अब विदेशों में कुछ अलग नाम देके कुछ अलग नाम देके उसको फिर एक डाइजेस्ट कर लिया जा रहा है। तो जब तक हम अपनी ज्ञान परंपरा को जानेंगे नहीं, तब तक फिर हम बाद में फिर हमें वो दूसरों से सीखना पड़ेगा और हमारे अंदर एक हीन भावना की निर्माण होगी। इसके लिए हमें अपनी ज्ञान परंपरा को जानना अत्यंत आवश्यक है और उसको जहां जहां हम लोगों के पूर्वजों ने काम किया है उसको श्रेय दिया जाना भी आवश्यक है।
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That was very helpful. And there are some questions that are coming in the chat window about how do I teach IKS along with my electronics engineering, about computer science engineering, etc. And Melvin sir has kindly shared his coordinates where he said he can offer consultancy there. Please do approach him. I would like to just say this to all the sirs and ma'am here. See, today one has to know the history about how what was done in the olden times. Some of the subjects we may not have a history. Maybe, I mean, I'm just guessing. Electronics, computer science may not exactly have a history like civil engineering or mechanical engineering because there were structures in the olden days. But having said that, the sound is very key. Sound, light, etc. They are all the root causes of what we have developed is based on these. So how advanced were those? That is some orientation that you can yourself research and then add it as points in your subjects. But I would say much more importantly, the beauty of the knowledge systems was we all complain about lack of value education, right? In our students, etc. In the current, please teach values going back to your roots, whichever culture you belong to. Even if you know Sanskritam, that is great. If you don't know Sanskritam, that is also okay. But go to your respective regions. What did your grandfather and grandmother say? Or their great grandfathers, how they lived? They would have lived a simple life with less expectation. That is the learning. And what is your mother tongue good sayings? Whether you are from mother tongue is Hindi or Tamil or whichever region you belong to. I'll give you one Sanskritam quote, and I'm sure it has equivalents in other languages also. There is something called Subhashita, that is good sayings. I'm sure good sayings are there in every language. This good saying is very relevant to our current generation. It says, Vidya Dadati, how to earn money and be happy is what the summary is all about. I'll tell you the 4 lines and explain. I'm sure you will have English, you will have Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, whatever equivalents in your respective languages in different forms. It says, Vidya Dadati Vinayam. Education or knowledge gives Vinayam, humility. Vinayat Yati Patratam. Humility gives character. Patratvat dhanam apnoti. Character helps you earn money. Then dhanat dharmaha. With money, you do your dharma. When you say dharma, it is also your daily dharma, the dharma towards your family and supporting them, etc. And also societal dharma. Dhanat dharma tatas sukam. From dharma, you become happy, or sukam or happiness comes from dharma. Now, in today's world, what is happening? Many of the steps are being sidestepped. Vidya, why do we study? For earning money. So, Vinayam is not there. Character, that is humility, character is gone. So, Vidya to Dhanam. Why Dhanam? Why are we chasing money? To give us Sukam. We think by earning more, we will get happiness. And to earn more, we need to study. That is how condensed it is today. By missing the intermediate steps, we find a lot of unhappiness in our society. Even people who earn, there's a lot of unhappiness, stress, family challenges, etc. That is because we bypassed all the side steps. This is one example I can give you. And I'm sure they are there in your respective regional languages. If you can even introduce for 5 minutes in your respective classes, don't worry about whether you're talking about IKS in computer science class or don't also expect a moral science period or a values education to be created by your respective colleges. See, let us not depend on others at all. Given the current constraints, what can we do towards the children and the students to help them lead value-based lives? That is all we can do. Whether it will give good results or not, again, it is not in our hands, but we can put in our efforts. That's my humble request to all of you.
Hello, Karthik sir. I'm Krishna. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, sir. So I have been listening this session, and as well as I am a teacher for the last 15 years. I'm a retired faculty, and in fact, I did a course on NPTEL Indian Knowledge System. In fact, Professor Mahadevan sir has written a book on Indian Knowledge System, and I brought that book. I was trying to read, but I tell you some of the problems I face. One is I am interested in history. In fact, whichever part of the world, wherever world I go, I always visit museums, and I love their history, how the culture has evolved. India, like every country has a history, like Chinese, Egyptians, Arabs. India has a very rich history, much more ancient, and some documented, some undocumented. So I would like to bring this into the class along with my regular modern subjects. So two dilemmas I face, sir. One is when I'm reading that book, that the Indian knowledge system. First thing is that I'm not a Sanskrit scholar, and I feel very uncomfortable to read in English. And since I do not know Sanskrit, and most of the slokas like trigonometry, geometry, their formulas are written in a Sanskrit form. Okay, in fact, the formulas are encoded in a Sanskrit slokas. Okay, so it made me a little uncomfortable. So I wish that local languages, for example, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, if they can transcribe that knowledge into local languages, maybe it connects us very well than in English or Sanskrit, which are very distant. That is one question, sir. The other one, I think most important thing is that say today we are calling our knowledge as a modern science, which is based on scientific facts. But if you look at our ancient knowledge, people say it is a belief system, it is an empirical knowledge proven by practice over thousands of years of our ancestors. So there is a dichotomy, is it proven? For example, this Vastu Shastra, that whatever people say that this works and why it works, has it been proven? Was it proven scientifically? Because I believe that scientific method itself is about only 500 years old, medieval time. Like Chinese also have a Chinese medicine, but what is the scientificness? How to justify when some student asks, tell me, is there a scientific basis to whatever you are saying Indian knowledge system? I don't have any answer. Maybe I have to enlighten me, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I understood your question, sir. I think it's a very valid argument. As I said, for the first question, it is not about Sanskritam or the lack of knowledge of it, sir. Whatever region of India you belong to, whatever language is your mother tongue, native language, go through the good scriptures there, good old poems there written by in the ancient times. They will all have good sayings, very, very similar. So Sanskrit, don't worry about the IKS book written by Sir. It is not a limitation. Sir has given his perspectives based on his knowledge. He's a Sanskrit scholar. Okay. And I also quoted it only. I also quoted because I've learned a little bit of Sanskrit, but I don't want Sanskrit to be a limiting factor. Okay, I know it is not a prerequisite. What is more important? If you are in, if you are, you go to your language ka whatever is there written in the past, right? Good kavis, good poets, or good story writers who write on moral and value based education. Please use that, sir. That is the first question. Language is not a barrier. Second is also, of course, there are many translation tools emerging, and I'm sure with the advent of AI, many more will emerge. So very soon we'll have language not as a barrier. Even if somebody talks in different language, there will be translators available for sure in a few years. I'm very confident of that. Coming to your second part, once again, see, we are doing it in good faith. We are not there to change or convert anybody to Indian systems, etc. It is their will. The intention has to be pure. Now, the validation, is this validated, is this scientific proven, etc. See, America is excellent, or the West is very good at documenting. Our document, India by tradition did not have documentation at all. Everything was passed by word of mouth. Everything was Guru Shishya Parampara. Be it whatever profession you have, you might be a weaver, you might be a carpenter, you might be a temple priest, you might be a farmer. Everything was passed on generation after generation from father to son or daughter, whatever, right? So, and also after independence, we did not, what do you say, take the effort. We had to rebuild our nation, which was in poverty and all that. So first of all, we had to attain some amount of economic might, which we have today. So the documentation and validation and proofs, we have to contribute towards that. Okay. And if people don't believe it, no need to argue or fight with them. We will try our best to get sources wherever they are available, and we will wait for the. I know there are quite a few organizations that are involved in creating the documentary evidence, proofs, etc. See, if you see, for example, let's say Sri Ravi Shankar ji, we have the Coimbatore, that I forget, Isha Foundation. They also do a lot of publications. There are there are many organizations which have started publishing in scientific journals based on their practices, but it is still very limited. Gradually, it will evolve with time. Maybe 10 years from now, we may have more publications and scientific validations and proofs. Till then, no point in arguing or fighting with anybody. We will just do it with good intention. With whatever we can influence, we'll influence positively. That's all I would say, sir.
Just one thing I need to add, Karthik sir, is about translation. There was a workshop in Kavi Kulguru Kalidas Sanskrit University last year, and a lot of scholars from all over India, including Sanskrit Bharati and some NGOs, where there have been professionals, engineers who have actually learned Sanskrit. It has been proven that any kind of translation, the meaning is lost. And though it has become there's a profession and opportunity in that, it's easier to learn Sanskrit. That's what is there, and we can socialize and begin from there.
Yes, no, I agree with you, sir. It is just that some people are finding that as a limitation. They're not probably getting the teachers, etc., or time constraint. Only from that angle I was mentioning. That is why I said Sanskrit is a means to an end, means to discovering rich wisdom. But let that not be an end in itself, because Indian knowledge system is not only about that language, although that language has a lot of great work done. Our own languages, whichever part of India we are, let's tap into the values and wisdom, whichever books, whichever authors, because every culture has some great people in them in the past. So can we tap into that? That is the only suggestion. Your point is taken, sir. Well taken, sir. So I think with that, we are coming to almost the end of the session. It's about 12, and I think we need to get it to a closure. Thank you so much, Arun ji and Jitendra ji.
I noticed Jitendra ji raising his hand. I think he wanted to make some.
Oh, okay, Jitendra ji. Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
मैं एक पॉइंट ऐड करना चाहूंगा, जैसे पीछे प्रोफेसर कोनेरू जी ने एक प्रश्न किया कि कैसे हम प्रूव करें कि ये साइंटिफिक वैलिड है कि नहीं। तो कोई भी चीज को वैलिड करने से अच्छा है कि हम खुद ही अपने जीवन में एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हैं। एक्सपीरियंस करके हम बता सकते हैं दूसरों को भी, हाँ मैंने ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस किया, उसका फायदा हुआ। उदाहरण के लिए जब आईकेएस बोलते हैं तो आईकेएस में प्रमुख जो विषय हमारे सामने ध्यान में आते हैं वो है आयुर्वेद है, योगा है, प्राणायाम है, या तो जैसे ज्योतिष और वास्तुशास्त्र की बात कर रहे थे। तो ये तो ऐसे चीजें हैं जिसको हम अपने जीवन में प्रत्यक्ष अनुभव कर सकते हैं और उसका हम खुद परिणाम देख सकते हैं कि हाँ ये वैलिड है कि नहीं। तो कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो मैंने तो खुद अपने जीवन में प्रयोग की हैं, जैसे आयुर्वेद है, योग है, प्राणायाम है, तो इनको तो हम प्रत्यक्ष देख सकते हैं। और वास्तुशास्त्र है, इसको भी आप खुद ही देख सकते हैं। आप इसी तरह ज्योतिष है, ज्योतिष को भी आप खुद देख सकते हैं, क्योंकि ज्योतिष ऐसा विषय है जिसमें प्रेडिक्शन भी कभी कभी की जाती है। तो मुझे स्वयं इस चीज पे इतना पहले मैं, चूंकि फिजिक्स में ही मेरी भी पढ़ाई हुई है मुंबई से ही, मुंबई यूनिवर्सिटी में, तो मुझे भी इतना विश्वास नहीं था। और इसके लिए एक बार उत्तराखंड की यात्रा हुई मेरी, उत्तरकाशी की। तो उत्तरकाशी में हालांकि वो बाबा जी मतलब कुछ ऐसा मैं कह नहीं सकता कि वो आधुनिक विषय में बहुत उनको ज्ञान था, लेकिन हाँ, उनको बाकी जो योग है या ज्योतिष है, इस विषय में उनको काफी ज्ञान था। तो उन्होंने कुछ बेसिक क्वेश्चन मुझसे पूछे, और वो क्वेश्चन पूछ के उन्होंने मेरा जो है वो तो पास्ट भी बता दिया। ऐसा नहीं कि खाली भविष्य बताता है, ये पास्ट भी उन्होंने बता दिया, और भविष्य में क्या होने वाला है वो भी बता दिया। तो पास्ट वाला पार्ट तो मुझे पता था कि हाँ ये ऐसा मेरे साथ है, लेकिन भविष्य में होगा वो भी मैंने वैलिडेट कर लिया कि हाँ, ज्योतिष में उन्होंने जो कुछ बताया था वो सत्य है। तो हम खुद से वैलिडेट कर सकते हैं, कुछ चीजें हैं। हाँ, कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो हमें वैलिडेट करने के लिए बहुत साधना करनी पड़ेंगी। जैसे कि हमारे यहाँ है कि आप एक ही जगह में रहते हुए कई लोगों की यात्रा कर सकते हैं, जिनको हम सिद्धियां कहते हैं। उन सिद्धियों के लिए हमें बहुत सारा तपस्या करना पड़ेगा, साधना करनी पड़ेगी, समाधि वगैरह की स्थिति तक जाना पड़ेगा। तो लेकिन हाँ, वैलिडेट हम कर सकते हैं, इतना मैं कहना चाहूंगा।
Okay, thank you, thank you. So I think what he's saying is actually experience and practice and try it out in pilots, small experiences. Go to a yoga class. Simplest thing is all of us need stretches. If not in, even if you don't want to take a risk in medicine, etc., take yoga, breathing exercises. These are all ancient practices. And we know that a lot of our modern medicine has side effects. Ayurveda doesn't just prescribe the churnas only by that. Ayurveda changes the way we are living. We are not supposed to eat certain things. Okay, so it is not a quick fix. So by experiencing these from the right people, we ourselves get convinced enough to talk about it to others. That's what Jitendra ji says. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any closing comments from you, Arun ji, and then we'll take it to closure. We are already running beyond time.
Sir, I have a question. I am Ashish.
Sir, we are out of time. Let this be the last question, sir. No more questions, please. Go ahead. Go
Sir,
ahead.
only yeah. Sir, I just want to ask you how to create interest in the IKS to the common student, because I am teaching in a local government college, and where I am teaching in the economics and the finance. But someday I have an incident that when a student said I am from the farmer family, so and he owns about 10 acres of land. So then I say, why don't you go for the farming after the education? Then he said, my father पढ़ाया लिखाया खेती, and in the traditional system we know that the agriculture is the topmost occupation, we can say that. Okay, so now a common student, apart from the elite colleges and all that thing, so basic state college students whose aim is only to getting job, they are studying for the degree because they are eligible for a job. So how can we motivate them to study the IKS or the traditional? That is my point, because until unless the society is not aware, no traditional system or any other knowledge system will not sustain for a long time. So how can we do that in the very common student to in the IKS or the traditional systems, because they have the generational system. Like if he is the farmer from the last three, so I think he has a much more knowledge from a common perspective about the agriculture, but he doesn't have the any knowledge of the agriculture. So how can we do that to create an
So
interest in a common
shall
student
we conclude this?
towards
Can I answer
IKS?
and conclude
Yeah,
this
yeah.
topic?
Arun ji, please go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just answer and conclude it from my side as well. I think the first thing that we all have to adopt is to stop talking in English as much as possible in our own original indigenous language, Bharati language, and Sanskrit to make things into capsule. We should forget English as soon as possible, and that will make sure that the local wisdom thrives. English is the one that covers it. You see, even in our discussion, we've rambled a lot around single points without being able to know where the logic is, how things go on top, less, and there's a lot of time, even in computer architecture, even in advanced physics, everything, every subject, English is the very dangerous entity. That is one. Second thing is I've just shared a link, Ji. I'm very happy to share that Sri Mukul Kanitkar ji's past, present, and future integrated holistic India's education system based out of Gurukul. He speaks clear facts from Vishnu Purana to modern education system, how Gurukulams will be the future. It was India's past, present, and future, not just for India, for the entire world. So I'm happy to refer that video. And with that, I'll conclude with the shloka that he himself taught all of us. Thank you.
Uh,
Okay. Sir, Jitendra ji, you wanted to say something?
हाँ, जस्ट आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड वन पॉइंट। जैसा कि आशीष जी इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ाते हैं, तो मैं उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि अगर वे चाणक्य का अर्थशास्त्र अपने क्लास में इन बिटवीन थोड़ा सा उसे कहीं छोटा छोटा मॉड्यूल बना के इन बिटवीन या एग्जाम्पल के रूप में थोड़ा थोड़ा पढ़ाएंगे, तो इससे लोगों में आईकेएस के प्रति निश्चय ही एक इंटरेस्ट का निर्माण होगा।
Great, sir. Great point. Great point.
Sir,
Yeah. So Arthashastra is a good addition, basically. Yeah.
Sir, I'm sorry. You said we run out of time. I'm Lavanya from the south of India, from Andhra Pradesh. I just have a few things to share with you very briefly. We are talking about IKS, but I also work in a university. IKS is looked at as a mandatory appendage. So it is made like one forced thing. We put it everywhere in the page, try to somehow manage and satisfy the HIE's body authority, say that it is there, neglect it. As a course, it is given as an audited one, meaningless, nowhere concerned, and students are also. Why are we talking about only IKS at the HES level? Why don't we have it at the school level? I put my thoughts in the chat box also. Where is the system that where are the kind of where we had discussions? I remember in my schooling days, though I was in an English medium school, we had a session where we were discussing Panchatantra or other stories, other things. We stopped publications like Chandamama, which had good storytelling things. Why we have replaced it totally. No parent has time for children or to talk to them. No grandparent also has time. Everybody is busy with serials where the mother-in-laws kill the daughter-in-laws, or daughter-in-laws plot the mother-in-law's deaths, etc. Or people are busy with money, and material goods. It is a consumer's market. Your status is only for this. These values are to be instilled right from childhood. There's no parenting happening. You have so many debts. People are unable to take no for an answer. Failures is looked at as a mean thing. I think these basic things which are there in all that, our own Puranas, everything have to be somewhere put in at the school level. Why are we in a hurry to teach them multiplication tables and IIT Olympiad mathematics in school level, 4th class, 5th class? Why are we not teaching them? We are only postponing. The government says no schooling until 5th class. Why can't we have the story kind of telling kind of things at the very beginning? Instead of teaching our students to eat with spoon and fork and pizza is the right ones, the words they know are only pizza, burger, etc. They don't know the desi things at all. Are we not, is it not time to look at the whole system of education? And once again, everybody says English. Why are we talking in English? Why is the alternative only Hindi? Why is it that we are leaving out? Let's find the common platform. Why is the Hindi belt ignore Sanskrit? Why are we not putting in the foundations at least now? We have the foreigners who are studying the Sanskrit text and giving us back, and we gulp it like left, right, center because it comes from white skin. Why are we not aware of it? I myself do not have Sanskrit knowledge at all. I'm also allowed to correct Sanskrit papers if it is written in Telugu or English or Tamil or any language it can be written, they'll get their marks. Sanskrit is looked at as a text, as a course where you can get your 90% marks in a language. I think there are some problems. I think the whole system has to be relooked at. What is being done is not enough. And the way NEP goes, they say so many things. Somewhere down the line, I strongly feel we are stupidly, I'm sorry to use the foul word maybe, but and this is out of my concern actually, because I've been working as a faculty for past 30 years, almost now 28 years. We are mindlessly following a great system, which is the Western system, which is a failed system, which is making people individualistic. We are putting so much of digitalization, people are becoming isolated. There is no community. Our system is that the Sanatana Dharma talks about everyone, taking everyone with you, concern for everyone. Where is that thought? The moral thought of it is not there. Kindly look into this, sir. Sorry if I've been too emotional and loud,
No,
but
no,
I had
no, no.
to
I
say
think
this little bit.
no, no. I think all the points I agree with you, ma'am. See, the thing is, I don't want to give an elaborate answer. I just accepting that I agree with all of it, and most of us will also agree with you. Okay, for whatever reason, this is where we are as a civilization. Historical problems that caused it. British actually damaged our culture, the way of our thinking. The Macaulay, you might have you've heard about the way Macaulay destroyed our Indian education system. It is
Sir,
deep rooted
just
into
one.
our culture. I
Sir,
will not go further into it,
correct,
accepting,
correct,
acknowledging Lavanya ma'am's thing. I'm going
correct,
to,
correct.
we are already 15 minutes beyond time,
Sure,
sir.
sir.
We have to respect the NPTEL team. So I must
Absolutely,
kindly
absolutely. Thank
excuse.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Yeah, I
you.
was
But I
just trying to say
acknowledge
that.
all your
Yeah,
inputs. I'm grateful to each one of you, sir. Thank you very much.
correct, correct. Yeah. The only point
Thank
I
you.
was trying to make is we let the colonizers, affect our culture. I mean, rather
Correct.
than they
That is the
creating
main
the.
problem.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that is the main problem. Thank you for such active participation. I'm grateful to each one of you. It's just that I have to honor the NPTEL team's time of 2 hours. We have already overstepped. And let's stay connected. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Dhanyawad.
Bye.
Thank you.